Hello, welcome to the circus. I know I showed myself. I'm not afraid to show myself. Look, little, I don't know if you can see them, but they're little trumpet earrings. See if I can find something that will show them off. See the little trumpets. How are you all? Wow, well, I don't know what to describe what happened today. I believe the stream went for 5 hours. Did it go for that long? Oh, I saw bits and pieces of it. And it was like a reunion of people in the community, people I haven't seen for so long, all in the same chat, all with the same common goal. What? She showed herself on that live stream, did she? Ooh, did she really? You mean figuratively or literally? Because I saw her going off at people. I believe she was deleting people, deleting comments, and she cracked it. Cracked a tanty. So it was bizarre. I am going to keep it, I'm hoping to keep it short tonight because I want to get up to watch the opening ceremony of the Olympics at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I want to get up early. I know, I'm silly. Yeah, so it's a wow. It was a bizarre old day. Now, if I didn't actually work, I actually had said I would have gone on the panel. Would have been happily to go on the panel. Oh, she showed her true self. The eyebrow never made an appearance. Okay, and I would have gone on and talked about the fact that she was turning. But I have to say, and I do believe at some point in time that he was having a go. He did it very nicely and subtly, but I do think he was taking the mick at some point in time. Hello, better with the Irish. I think there was a bit of um, playing with her a bit, but it was bizarre. She walked into it, but every time somebody wanted to say something that was a different opinion, she cracked it. Oh, did you enjoy it better with the Irish? Did you enjoy it? I can't believe she put herself in it. But first of all, she did do another Gypsy video. And this is Gypsy Blanchard's cruel antics to try and force Ryan to divorce her. Big blowouts with Ken exposed. How can she say that she was manipulated? I mean, he did, but I think he was trying to gain her. Well, I think so as well. I don't know how that happened, but I think he was also losing people too. I mean, even some of his own people were saying, is he for real? So anyway, and it was a mistake. It was a mistake giving her a wrench too, because she was getting rid of comments. But I just loved how she'd be mid-sentence and then there'd be this great big pause. And you could see that she was reading the comments. So let's have a look at this. Hello, Purple Dragon Shield. When she looks into him, it won't be good. As I said, it was like a reunion of everybody, past, present, and possibly future anti-KJ people were there. It was, and everybody was saying the same thing. That's not what she said. Anyway, so I've heard really interesting. I really got annoyed when she started talking about her son. And the sympathy and empathy that she had for Nick Goddardon when she has absolutely canned him. You're up very late, so I'm not sure I'll last long. Okay, that's all right. Last for as long as you need to. So it was definitely bizarre and weird. So let's have a look at this.
that I bring a certain level of drama to his life that I don't mean to bring. It's like my baggage. He could leave me right now, and it's completely out of my control. And that's scary. It was scary back then, and it's still scary now. But he has my heart, and I can't control that. I trust that he loves me. I trust that I love him. And right now, it's just like I'm happy again, and I don't want to do anything to mess it up.
Hey, her saying she's currently an empath had me laughing. Look, I was counting 6 mentions of autism for her son. Wow, 6? But remember, she doesn't talk about her son. Her son's not part of the channel. And she did do some backflips, didn't she? Oh, I didn't really say that. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Here's the question I wanted to, this is the question that I wanted somebody to ask. I would have said, the question I wanted to know was, why should people believe what she has to say now as opposed to before? Remember, she said, I know for 100% fact that Ryan is not the father. I know for a fact that Ken is the father. Now she says, I don't know who the father is. Was she telling the truth then when she said it was 100% fact? Or is she telling the truth now when she says, I don't know who the father is? And why are you saying the fact when we all know where you've got it from? And you and if she had said, the family have assured me that Ken is the father, that would at least give credibility to say the family's convinced. But to say, I know for 100% fact that Ryan isn't the father and the baby is Ken's, implies that she was there. That's the question I wanted to know. That's the question that I wanted to ask, that I would have asked if I'd had. I bet she realizes, well, this is the bank statement she says she has. Oh, it'd be very interesting to see. We just have to keep watching. And the other thing is, she was now saying that she was aware that Christy and Gypsy may send out the trolls. So wait for that now. I think I put in the chat at one point in time, are we Robert Shin's? Do we work for Robert Shin or do we work for Christy Blanchard now? Because I'm a bit confused, because she's now putting it all onto the Blanchards, you see? All the problems she has. It's all the Blanchard's faults now. So, yeah, anyway. Without any toes.
Hi, friends. This is Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is July 25th, Thursday, 2020.
Hi, Graham. Jennifer Crackers. Are you still accepting service? Yes, it'll be very interesting. Well, she'll be a victim. Yes, she'll be a victim of attacks again. She will be. You wait. She's already laid that foundation today.
I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. So the season finale of Life After Lockup, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's Life After Lockup, it was the second season of her docu-series. It's really a reality show. And it ended with her finding out that she was pregnant, but it also showed her telling Ryan that she wanted a divorce. It showed her reuniting with Ken. And it also was a pivotal moment for me because something that she...
So if she was pregnant and around the time, I still think she was playing both guys for fools and was using them. How do I know? I don't. But it's called critical thinking. It's laughable to say she's scared of them but tries to humiliate them. Of course it is.
Told Ryan in this episode is the exact opposite of what she actually told me. In the episode, Ryan shows production a text message that he had received from Gypsy, which included a photo of her and Ken. The photo of her and Ken was of the two of them in New Orleans, and it was of Ken visiting Gypsy. And she had sent the photo via text to Ryan to show him that she was with Ken. And Ryan said that he was heartbroken by it. He was actually crying about all of it. Then he wakes up and he finds out that she has gotten matching tattoos with Ken. And meanwhile, all of this is leaking all over the internet. You're seeing what happened to them behind the scenes on the show, but obviously all of us knew that this happened because this all came out in the tabloids.
Which she denied that she was saying they were just friends. They're not together, they're just friends. Well, actually, I'm very disappointed, Peter, that she didn't give us the explanation about UTIs and pregnancies and which hole was used. I'm very disappointed about that. I loved it, though, when she was talking about it, everyone was talking about the UTI. If you were, hey, Bo.
Gypsy sent the photos literally to everyone. So Gypsy sent these photos to Ryan, okay? And Ryan's heartbroken about it, and he's crying, and he's like, did I mean anything to you? Did I mean anything to you?
When we reconnected, I was like, let's get matching husky tattoos. This was my idea. I'm like, let's do it. I'm like, this feels right. This feels good.
The matching tattoos broke my heart. It's like, did I mean anything? Did I mean anything?
Ryan's reaction is, I would say, I mean, if I were married to someone and we literally had only split less than 2 weeks ago, I would probably be feeling the same way.
Did you say if I was married to somebody? Hang on.
It's like, did I mean anything? Did I mean anything?
Ryan's reaction is, I would say, I mean, if I were married to someone and we literally...
If I were married... Is she implying something there? Because we're not hearing about Toad very much, are we?
Had only split less than 2 weeks ago, I would probably be feeling the same way. Regardless if they were compatible or not, regardless if the relationship was, not the easiest or whatever, even if you've just split, you've been involved in this relationship for 3 years, and then within a matter of weeks, you're getting a matching tattoo. I mean, I think she left Ryan on March 23rd, and she got the matching tattoo with Ken on April 1st. And
oh.
And there was a very short window in that time where all of the media attention was kind of calm. And then as soon as Ken came back, it was like a media storm again. And Ken's mom was talking to the tabloids. Stuff was getting leaked to TMZ. It was like this massive tidal wave. And I was absolutely shocked because obviously I was told that Gypsy and Ryan had just split. I was told she was going to be filing for divorce. But by this point, she had not filed for divorce. They were still not, they were separated, but she hadn't filed for divorce. It was a very weird, risky, bizarre choice to do this. And it felt kind of vindictive. And it felt like she wasn't even considering how this would look publicly, which I've learned a lot is she doesn't care. She doesn't think about that kind of stuff.
Just tried that. I'm going. Oh.
Regardless, I was actually sent photographs directly from Gypsy of the matching tattoos. And she sent those photos to not only me, but to TMZ and other outlets. And the photographs were everywhere. So I talked to them when all this stuff comes out, because frankly, I didn't have this kind of relationship where I was talking to them literally every day. And I didn't spend a lot of time paying attention to what she was doing online. So when I saw it, I contacted them and I was like, what is going on here? And they swore up and down to me that they were just friends, that it was nothing, that it wasn't like it looked. It was literally, they were just friends.
Oh, yes, because, friends, go get matching tattoos and hold hands in public, right? Right.
That's what they told me. And so that's what I put out. And that's what TMZ put out. And that's what other outlets put out, because that's what they told us. And then a day later, there's photographs that come out of her holding hands with Ken. And I was like, what? You're going to say nothing? You're going to literally say to me that nothing's happening, right? You're literally going to say to me that they're just friends and then they're holding hands. Okay. You're willing to lie to me. I get it. So that was kind of like one point where I was like, I can't trust them anymore. That was in April. Okay. And so it's taken me several months to get to this point to back away. So a couple days later, when I find out that it's obviously not like they...
Is she that gullible? I'm starting to think that she's gullible. I don't think this is the one you can join, mate. I agree,
Told me
Peter.
initially. Then I'm told that Gypsy was sending these photographs of her with Ken to Ryan. And I was horrified. I was like, that is so cruel. Like, why would she do that? And this person within the family was horrified too and very upset with Gypsy and said that it was really unnecessary and that Gypsy wasn't fighting fair and she was intentionally trying to make Ryan jealous and doing this to like fuel chaos, right? Like she would do this to both these guys. And she's, I want to be clear, still doing this. This is still happening. She is still contacting Ryan and she's getting in fights with Ken and goes to run to Ryan. I'll get there in a minute.
See, I have said that. That was what my thought is. This is why I'm saying I read somewhere that that's what was happening, or I had a feeling that's what was happening based on what I was seeing. But Katie was saying that Ryan's this horrible guy. Of course, she's been playing them against each other. It's been obvious.
Regardless, by this point, it's May and the news is all over the place. And at this point now, there's rumors that she's pregnant. I don't even know that she's pregnant at this point. And promo comes out for the Kim Kardashian episode where she's going to be on the Kardashians. And I was just like disgusted. I was at a point where it was so obvious to me that no matter what, this wasn't about advocacy. This wasn't about trying to help other people, because that was the story they sold me. They sold me that Gypsy wasn't going to come out and try to be famous. They promised me that it wasn't going to be about fame. It wasn't going to be about money. And I never would have supported any of this if it would have been about fame and would have been about money.
So this is a Clark Swanson story again.
They told me that they were going to do advocacy. They were going to start working with advocacy groups. They were going to get connected with people like Elizabeth Smart and other victims of abuse that have been high profile. And they were going to develop networks to help raise awareness around the disorder that Gypsy's mom allegedly had, even though she could never be diagnosed with it because she was unalived by Gypsy and Nicholas Godejohn in 2015. So we'll never know if Gypsy's mom had Munchausen's by proxy or if she was just a malingerer, which is a fraud scheme where you fake illnesses so that you can get gifts, money, all of it. And it would be malingering by proxy, which is different than Munchausen's syndrome by proxy, regardless. So in May, I have a phone call with Gypsy because the behavior online, the running to the tabloids, the constant shifting and what she's going to do. She's not going to be an advocate anymore. Now she's going to be an influencer. It's beginning to start to feel like all of these promises that were made to me about what they cared about and who they felt and who they portrayed themselves to be. And
but why did they have to promise her anything? Who is she? That's what I want to know. Who is she that they,
and the issues that they claimed to support were not, in fact, true. I don't think that Gypsy really has the capacity to care about any of it. I don't think she really cares about the communities that she and her mom impacted, the communities that were defrauded, and the lasting impact of what her mom's case has done to communities with children with disabilities and the fraud that was perpetuated on her community in Springfield. I just don't see it because it's not there. And when I was talking with her, we were talking through a lot of my concerns, and I flat out said to her, Gypsy, why are you sending photographs of you and Ken to Brian? And point blank, she said to me, I didn't do that. Seriously. She said, I didn't do that. And I was like, you're lying to me.
Oh, so this is all about how can't be managed because their clients have little self-restraint. She does. Yeah, well, I think, is that what she wanted to, did she want to be the PR person? I'm sort of getting the impression she wanted to be the PR person. And so now that she's hired a PR person and a manager, KJ now doesn't have a job.
I said, I know you sent him a text message of you and Ken together. And then she was like, wait, what? Huh? What? And kind of started backtracking. And then she says to me, oh, yeah, I did. I sent him a photograph of me and Ken because I wanted him to get me on Adultery. And I was like, what? She's like, well, I wanted the marriage to be over. And so I just wanted to get him to get me on Adultery so he would just see that it was over and so the divorce could just go through. And it didn't even make sense to me because I want to share with you something. Adultery isn't anything that matters in Louisiana. Louisiana is a no-fault divorce state. Proving adultery can help with alimony and maybe division of property in the favor of Ryan, not in the favor of her, but it wouldn't speed up their divorce in any capacity.
Let's just have a look at that. I thought we looked at that and said divorce, can adultery speed? I'm sure we read it. I'm sure we looked at a legal document that says it it can. She says, KJ want to be PR. So this is a law firm in infidelity and law in Louisiana. Why it might matter. Recently, truth is adultery may affect a divorce and it may not. It's completely case by case. In Louisiana, whether you have a covenant or a traditional marriage, you can officially cite adultery as the cause for your divorce, just like you could for cruelty or domestic violence. All that matters is that it's the foundation upon which your divorce case is built, no matter which direction you go. First, it's important to note that adultery can be defined as any sexual act inside or outside of a heterosexual intercourse. So yes, cheating on a spouse doesn't strictly mean intercourse. Here are 3 ways citing divorce can affect your divorce proceedings. You may be able to speed up your divorce. Louisiana law typically requires a couple be separated for 1 year before they can be legally divorced if they have minor children. However, if adultery is the cause for divorce, a couple may be able to obtain a divorce quicker than that. If you want a speedy divorce, it's best to communicate to your attorney. Your attorney can talk to you about whether or not it may be possible in the first place. Adultery could have an effect on property division or alimony. Again, it's situational. May not affect the divorce. The adultery may not have any effect on the request of child support. If the cheating spouse is found to be at fault for the divorce, that same spouse may not be entitled to any financial support. Louisiana Civil Code requires that a spouse be free from fault in order to receive spousal support. It's imperative that you speak to a lack of discretion surrounding an extramarital affair may affect child custody proceedings. Adultery is one of the most nuanced and case-by-case aspects of divorces. So it is possible. Now, this one says, the accusing spouse must provide evidence that the unfaithful spouse engaged in a sexual relationship with someone else. If proven, the court can grant a divorce based on adultery. This can speed up the process compared to a no-fault divorce. A judge can grant a full at-fault divorce if your spouse has committed adultery. So it is possible. So again, this is legals. What are the grounds for divorce? They have 2 types, for no fault and a fault-based divorce. A judge can grant a fault-based divorce if your spouse has committed adultery. Right, Katie, we have just... So let's have a listen to Katie again. I figure I've just realized there's no sound, right? Sorry, I got a bit excited. I just realized there was no sound. Sorry about that. I just got the alert on my computer that there was no sound. Is there sound now? Tell me.
That matters in Louisiana. That Gypsy really has the capacity to care about any of it. I don't think she really cares about the communities that she and her mom impacted, the communities that were defrauded, and the lasting impact of what her mom's case has done to communities in with children with disabilities and the fraud that was perpetuated on her community in Springfield. It's just, I just don't see it because it's not there. And when I was talking with her, we were talking through a lot of my concerns, and I flat out said to her, Gypsy, why are you sending photographs of you and Ken to Brian? And point blank, she said to me, I didn't do that. Seriously. She said, I didn't do that. And I was like, you're lying to me. I said, I know you sent him a text message of you and Ken together. And then she was like, wait, what? Huh? What? You know, like kind of started backtracking. And then she says to me, oh, yeah, I did. I sent him a photograph of me and Ken because I wanted him to get me on adultery. And I was like, what? She's like, well, I wanted the marriage to be over. And so I just wanted to get him to get me on adultery so he would just see that it was over. And so
So, as I said, according to what we're reading by all the law firms in Louisiana, it can be sped up. That's why that's why I guess she in her mind, that's why she did it, so that she could get a quickie divorce. KJ said she thought she was. I heard that. I did hear some of it. I did hear parts of that. It was amusing.
divorce could just go through. And it didn't even make sense to me because I want to share with you something. Adultery isn't anything that matters in Louisiana. Louisiana is a no-fault divorce state.
Again, we proved that. You've seen the receipts. You decide. All right.
Proving adultery can help with alimony and maybe division of property in the favor of Ryan, not in the favor of her, but it wouldn't speed up their divorce in any capacity, right? It's a no-fault state. All they have to say is irreconcilable differences. And I said, I was horrified. I was like, that's just cruel. It is cruel to send someone photographs of you with someone else to make them see that you're done with them. It's mean. It's vindictive. It's like playing with someone's heart. This is a guy that invested 3 years in her life. And even if I don't think that his personality is that great on the show, you don't do that to someone. I was so...
Now she's saying his personality isn't great at the show. Remember, she trashed him. Do people call her out on this, or do they just... And Gypsy, if you can see this, everything Katie said was true. She's not trying to be a hater. But she got more life experience instead of blowing off what she says. Listen to her. She's trying to help you. That's a funny comment. Thanks. I tried to help. Who is Chad? Yeah, you can. I've been watching her since she was released. I felt sorry for her, but watching her actions, doing some deep homework. She's acting like she did years ago. I know people like this. I'm from the UK. Girls are big game players. Yeah, whatever. It's funny though, she admits to him using Nick as well in this live stream. It was bizarre.
So infuriated by it. And I let her know. I let her know that was wrong. And I don't support that kind of behavior. And that was just one of the many things that I didn't support. So if anyone thinks that I was just blindly behind the scenes, not saying anything, I was saying things.
Yeah, but front of it, you were still towing the line. We don't know what you said behind the scenes because we've only got your word for it. And I wouldn't say that you're the most credible source.
Trust me, but no one listens. And again, they don't have to listen to me. I'm just some random person. But I let her know.
Nobody listens because you're not credible.
Oh, that was wrong. And so when she said to me that she was trying to get him on adultery, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, on this recent episode, there's a clip of Gypsy and Ryan talking, and she's on the phone. She's in the garage at her parents' place in Cutoff, Louisiana. And he says, I've got you on adultery. I've got you on adultery. And I'm like, and she's like, I didn't do anything. You don't have me on adultery. What are you talking about? I haven't done anything. And that was my end point. That was my end point when she said that to him, because she told me I wanted him to get me on adultery. And then when she flat out is approached by him or like confronted by him and says, I've got you on adultery. And she's like, no, you didn't. I didn't do anything. I knew that she was maliciously sending those photographs to him and intentionally playing with him. Intentionally. Like, I don't know if she finds this to be fun. I don't know if this is like a game for her, but the fact that she says to me, I'm trying to get him on adultery. I want him to get me on adultery because she doesn't want to be with him anymore. And then he's like, I've got you on adultery. And she's like, no, you didn't. I didn't do anything. Why did you send the photos then? What are you trying to do to him? Are you trying to terrorize him? Are you trying to make him like feel small? Are you trying to make him feel insignificant? Are you trying to intentionally humiliate him? Because that's what it looks like when you're leaving someone and you're flaunting a new relationship before you even file for divorce. So that was my endpoint. Okay. And I knew at that point that Gypsy doesn't really care about other people's feelings. When she has made a decision to cut ties with someone, it's like it doesn't matter to her at all what their feelings are. And if she hurts them by doing something, it doesn't matter. She has no
Is that the pot calling the kettle?
remorse. Like, it's clear she has no remorse. And that just made me start to think, what else does she have no remorse about, right? With her marriage breaking down and she finally files for divorce and the divorce is in process, right? She's now pregnant. We don't know who the baby's father is because Ryan said on Lifetime that he got pregnancy tests from her a month before and she said she was pregnant a month before and he could have been the father. So frankly, if I'm going to go off a track record of who's going to be lying and who's not going to be lying, I'm going to believe Ryan over Gypsy.
Anyone could support Gypsy in the first place. She makes my skin crawl, says one lone voice. Ryan should drag the divorce out as long as possible because she's making a lot of money when it comes to time. Oh, that's true too. That's a good point.
You know, a month right after she left, Gypsy texted me a bunch of pregnancy tests and said she was pregnant. Okay, well, who's the father? And it could have been me or Ken at that point. So she didn't know. She was like, I don't know. The previous month, she sent me pictures of pregnancy tests. But this time, there's no pictures, no proof. And so, like, I don't know what to believe.
Obviously, we don't know who the father is. We don't know when she conceived. We can only go off based off a admitted liar's point of view that she's going to be giving birth on January 22nd, and that's when. And it's Ken's baby for sure. A paternity test is going to help us sort through this or help them sort through this. I'm not even invested in this and I'm not involved in it in any way. But if you think that because she's now pregnant with Ken's baby, she has suddenly changed and she has found the love of her life and she is with the man of her dreams, that literally couldn't be further from the truth. Because the thing about Gypsy is you can't change, like Gypsy is the kind of person that the grass is always greener on the other side. And it's very impulsive about what can make her happy now. She is 100% chasing fairy tales and 100% always looking for the fix.
But Ken's unemployed though at the moment. He doesn't have a job. So she dumped a man with a job for a man without a job. That's really going up in the world, isn't it?
Of who's going to give her the most attention, who's going to make her feel the most validated, who's going to give her the most supply.
Is that why she didn't like Ryan? Because he was going to work.
And when somebody doesn't give her what she wants, then she goes to another person to get what she wants. And then she plays games between the guys. And so she had been playing games between Ken and Ryan for years. And she is still playing games between Ken and Ryan. So I'll give you an example. Gypsy's now with Ken. She's on parole and she can't live with him, but she spends time with him and he spends time with her. Gypsy and Ken on social media act like they have the most perfect relationship. Gypsy's telling everyone that he is the love of her life. She finally found her person and she's happy and in love. She said the exact same thing about Ryan, that she had to kiss a few frogs, but she found her Prince Charming. She also said the same thing about Nick. She wanted to get pregnant with all three of them. She wanted to have a baby with Nick. She wanted to have a baby with Ryan, and she wanted to have a baby with Ken. She just wants to have a baby. And I think she thinks that having a baby will solidify a relationship so the guy can't get out of his relationship with her. But
isn't that what her mother did?
even with a baby, it doesn't change Gypsy and who she is internally. And Gypsy has a very high opinion of herself, a super high opinion of herself, an overinflated sense of self. And over the years has been telling these guys that all these other men want to be with her. And so they should be lucky that she's with them and that she can find another guy easy because of who she is. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ryan has admitted that on the show. Gypsy believes she's famous. She believes she's desirable. She believes she's wanted. And she uses that and plays on the guy's insecurities. And when they fight, she doesn't fight fair. And so an example is, and she told me this, she and Ken were having an argument, and she was upset because Ken was looking at photographs of his ex to see.
Hello, short order. Laura says she's not all that. Oh, short order. You missed. It was a day of it. Did you catch up on any of the stream that Katie was on? It's a 5-hour stream. We're not going to look at it. I did record it. I'm trying to get it onto my computer at the moment, but we'll watch some of it because there are some good bits in there. I mean, I can't. I mean, she would. Yeah, I need to find the bit where she refused to answer a question too.
How he was looking at his ex versus how he looked at Gypsy, because people online said that Ken didn't look like he was happy and he didn't see it. And he wanted to see if there was some sort of difference between how he was with his ex-girlfriend versus how he was with Gypsy. And that made Gypsy like blow up, I guess. And then she said that in response to that, she contacted Brian and told him that she missed him and didn't know what she wanted anymore. So Ken literally just looked at a photograph of his ex to see if he was looking at her differently than he was looking at Gypsy because of an online troll. And then Gypsy doesn't like that he's even looking.
Oh, 5 hours of dribble. Look, all the old, there was people I haven't seen for years every time there would be another name. I go, gee, I haven't seen that name for years.
Looking at a photograph of his ex, even though Gypsy's current ex is all over the media, right? And she calls Ryan and tells Ryan she misses him and she still is in love with him. And that was a couple weeks ago. Yep. And then Ryan is on a live and he texts Gypsy, and then Gypsy is saying she's not going to respond to him. This was a couple weeks ago on TikTok, and Gypsy is playing both sides. She's still playing with Ryan's heart. She's still stringing him along. And
yeah, we said that. I'm not even. I don't know much about the chick, but I could tell that.
And she's also, whenever Ken does something that she doesn't like, she runs back to Ryan. Always. That's why Ryan says she always comes back. So after.
That's why I'm saying it possibly still could be Ryan's. I mean.
She is having this fight with Ken and texts Ryan. Ryan texts her, and then she texts Ryan back and tells him to keep her name out of his mouth. It's just, she instigates the communication. She drops the feelings. And then when he reciprocates the feelings and is feeling conflicted about those feelings and says, well, don't you miss me? Her response is to be cruel. But had she not even done it in the first place, she wouldn't have confused the man to begin with.
Ooh, it is. Let's have a look at let's have a look at this. People coming to Katie that she doubled down on that. No, she didn't.
He texts Gypsy, and then Gypsy is saying she's not going to respond to him. This was a couple weeks ago on TikTok, and Gypsy is playing both sides. She's still playing with Ryan's heart. She's still stringing him along. And then she's also, whenever Ken does something that she doesn't like, she runs back to Ryan. Always. That's why Ryan says she always comes back. So after she is having this fight with Ken and texts Ryan, Ryan texts her, and then she texts Ryan back and tells him to keep her name out of his mouth. It's just, she instigates the communication.
It's just like, tell me how I was disrespectful to you in my life by saying you text me and I wasn't going to text back. I said you make it hard to heal. That's it. I want to see what the first bit of this says.
His mouth. It's just,
I think that will make me miss you. I wasn't being mean on my live. I was saying what I was thinking.
she instigates the communication. She drops the feelings. And then when he reciprocates the feelings and is feeling conflicted about those feelings and says, well, don't you miss me? Her response is to be cruel. But
this is all I will say. I don't text you or call you because I have a child. I have a 10-week-old baby growing inside me who needs a family. So if you have any love for me, do me that and leave me alone and keep my name out of your mouth. What's this? I have a child? What? What is that about?
Had she not even done it in the first place, she wouldn't have confused the man to begin with. She's playing a game, and it's keeping both the guys completely off balance.
Please just be respectful. This is hard on all of us. I'm sorry you are hurting.
I think I expressed concerns a week ago to the family that I don't think Ken and Gypsy are going to make it. until the baby. I think they'll split before it even happens. I don't know if that's true. That's just my gut. And they said to me that Gypsy and Ken have been having a lot of arguments about insecurities, about infidelity, about Ken leaving again, about Gypsy's jealousy of him and his ex-girlfriend, about Gypsy going through his phone and looking for text messages and checking for photographs that he might have of any girl in his phone, even though her show has her marriage on television, right? Her marriage is plastered everywhere, kissing Ryan everywhere, but getting mad at Ken for having a couple photos of an ex-girlfriend in his phone. And when Ken doesn't do what she wants, then she gets cruel and apparently has told him he's too immature to be a father, which is that's what they said. Allegedly, she allegedly said that Ken is too immature to be a father, and she doesn't know if she can have if he should even be in a relationship with him. But she can't give up on it because, her baby needs two parents. So she's already less than a couple months into this relationship that's rekindled with Ken and already trying to think of a way to get out of it. He's too immature. He looks at his ex. He's going to leave her. It made me think about something from her case with Nick about how she's very jealous. And it was something from, I think, the police report.
You can actually hear her clicking. I don't know whether you can hear it. If you can hear the clicking, it's not me clicking, it's her clicking. It's her recording.
It's actually from a police report, the supplemental report from the investigation. And it was during the time when they were digging through all of the records of Gypsy's data, like the videos and all of those interactions that she and Nicholas were having. And in one of the supplemental reports, and this was posted on a Google Drive, I actually found it on Reddit. It looks like it's by proxy, who's my fancy Miss Ellie. That's a whole other thing. But it says that the police report says that she's playing Ruby. And she says, "Hi, sir, this is Ruby, and I'm making this video as an introduction video. Gypsy admits Ruby is the most evil side of her. She stated in the audio that she likes to get into trouble. She's not sorry when she gets caught. She stated that her carrying was broken and she was not scared of law enforcement, but she would be scared of Nicholas's evil side. She stated that she would do anything with Nicholas to include murder, rape, and assault. Gypsy tells Nicholas if at any time a girl tried to become his girlfriend, she would kill them with pleasure, and there would be lots of gore and blood. She stated that if the girl was trying to get with Nicholas for sex, she might allow it. But if the girl tried to get with him as a girlfriend, she would kill her, or they could kill her together." And then she goes on to say that if it were family members murdered, she would not be so brutal, and she would have to step back and let him handle it. She claims all of that is role play, right? They're just doing the role play. She was just following his lead, saying whatever he wanted, whatever. But when I saw that this morning, it got me thinking about what she told me about when she left Ryan.
So she's also just confirmed she uses Reddit, by the way.
Because she said that she felt trapped in her marriage and that she needed to get out. And she said she was so proud of herself that she was able to leave him and leave without hurting him and leave without having to resort to murder. And I was like, that's just weird. But because with her mom, she felt trapped and that's where they went. But to still be thinking that that could be a possibility and then be proud of yourself for not doing it, it just kind of gives me chills. I don't know if she was just trying to say that she's learning that what she did in the past was wrong and that there's ways to do things that aren't what she did before, but she probably should have already learned that, you know what I'm saying? But what I found interesting is that in that she's talking about the jealousy that she feels of other girls and what she would do to someone if she found them with another girl. And now she's being very jealous apparently with Ken. So I don't know, man, if I were Ken, I'd be sleeping with one eye open. That's just my thoughts.
Wow. Oh, she's turned very quickly, hasn't she?
Been an experience of dealing with this woman, and to extract myself from them is difficult because they do retaliate against people. And I also know that I posted stuff based upon things she told me that were just flat out lies. And that's on me, right? Other outlets are just posting what she's telling them. And TMZ is doing it too. She tells them something and then that's what she says. That's what their claim is, whether it's true or not.
Yeah, but they don't say, I know for a fact. They go, Gypsy has said, there was a way she could have done it to have covered herself. But she kept saying, I know the family, they wouldn't lead me up the wrong path, they wouldn't do this to me. I know them, we've been friends forever. You're all wrong. I'm going to block everybody because you're very mean to Gypsy. How dare you question what Gypsy's doing? How dare you? she went in and she went in and has as a ride or die, and it's backfired on her. But you're right, short order. She should apologize. She should be the one apologizing to everybody that she's blocked. Every single person that she's blocked, every single person she's had a go at on this issue. Because a lot of us took a step back and said, this story's not adding up here. There's something not right.
That's what the claim is. So Gypsy's happily ever after isn't that happy. She is still playing both sides. She's intentionally hurting both men. She's doing this as some kind of game, some sort of power trip. And it just further makes me feel like if Gypsy really is and has gone through so much abuse and so much trauma as a child and went through all of that, and she's not doing intense therapy, I'm like, how is she going to be a mother if this is how she's acting right now? Like, how is she going to take care of a kid if she can't even take care of herself? It feels very ominous to me, very ominous. And I fear for the child. I fear for the safety of people around Gypsy. I feel like she could potentially end up in prison again. And I don't know for what, maybe fraud, but it feels like she hasn't really let go of a lot of her behaviors that she had before that led to what happened to her mom. And she hasn't been reformed. And I think she just says the right things and says whatever she thinks is going to get her the right reaction. She like parrots and mirrors people.
Well, apparently Katie has said that she found out that Gypsy hadn't been telling her the truth. I mean, we all said that. We all knew that. As I said, we've all said it. We don't think that this is right. And I would have thought that as a reporter, due diligence would have been the right thing to do. But all she's been is a mouthpiece, just like it's just Swanson all over again, Tony Westbrook all over again. Now I'm just waiting for the Wilkins to turn on her. That will be the next one.
And says what they want to hear, regardless if it's true. And then that makes me wonder, like, what has she not said about her crime, right? Like, if she's willing to lie about these little things, what then am I supposed to question about her experience with her mom? What can I believe about what she said happened to her? What can I believe about what she claims her role is in this situation? Because her case wasn't fully investigated because she took a plea deal. And it just, all of that makes me question how much I actually know. And I thought I knew this case well. So what are your thoughts about all of this? Make sure to leave some comments below if you have something you'd like to say, if you're surprised or not surprised. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks.
I think the Wilkins have turned on her. I think they've told her she's causing more damage than good to their family. So that is, the crystal, that was her live. Now, I'm not going to watch all of the 5 hours. I will say we're not going to watch all of the 5 hours, but I do know there were some good points on here. He wants to come on my panel, and I'm not letting him do it at the moment. It's not. I don't think it's appropriate. Now I'm going to see. Yes, everyone say hello to Harrison. Now, I thought what I did is I thought I would just see what the comments were. Let's look at the comments before we look at some of the video. I've just done a search for mentions of Katie Joy. And some of these are great. So someone says, hello. So Katie's such a Karen. She hurts all kinds of victims, elderly widows, children, families. She'll take anyone down that slights her. No, there is no right or wrong. This woman has never seen anything. She's just a liar. She's sitting here pretending I only have a small portion of records. I have thousands and thousands of pages. I put in over 270 in Patreon. So what was that about me having 100 or so pages? One more time, mate, and I'm putting you into timeout. Katie is a new fancy. Katie ejected. How is anyone buying this one's freaking story? She wrote and died for them. She's only spilling tea now because they have no use for her now. Her anymore. Now she's out to reach out to haters to see if she can find some relevance again. They had to tell Gypsy she wasn't a Kardashian. I got to watch half of this while at work, someone says. I can only see in the future Ryan finding a girlfriend, falling in love, Gypsy getting jealous, wanting Ryan back. So who's paying her? Because people have started to figure out this wasn't for Dee. Oh, wow, not Katie Joyce saying Gypsy needs to be in a conservatorship. I know what he wants to do, but I know what he wants, but I need him to tell me how it's going to benefit. What he wants to do is going to benefit me. At the moment, it only benefits him. So, if you zoom in on. That was fascinating on several levels. I've never listened to Katie Joyce's channel, but he has certainly stayed in the spotlight by monologuing and dragging out her answers. But overall, I enjoyed her take on the Blanchard show. Some thought-provoking character assessment, someone says. Also fascinating is a really... this was painful to listen to with all the interruptions. Write your questions down and ask it when she was done talking. I don't care what people think of Katie Joy. Bottom line, she's had long-term contact with his family. I really wanted to hear what she had to say, but she was constantly disrupted, and it was so infuriating to listen to. I don't mind Katie Joy, but people have some strong negative opinions of her. I think she's totally misunderstood, or maybe doesn't fit in as well. She doesn't get down with attacking looks because people do that to her. Morbid, Morbid, I like your channel, I enjoy listening, but I'm sorry, I have to unsubscribe, and I'll tell you a few times I heard you, someone said something about swearing or something. Conservatorship, believe me. Anyway, somebody said that. Somebody's not happy about the fact that he used the Lord's name in vain. Anyway, so there's a whole thing on that. But anyway, so let's look at some of this, because I'm just trying to think where she came in. And we'll just...
To you.
Yes, but she really did mislead them. I mean, I know.
Go work and be away from her. She didn't care about
No,
Ryan.
sure.
Ryan, go ahead. Ryan was not there 8 hours a day. And,
I'm sure that when she takes one of her 20 naps a day, she takes his phone with her. She doesn't want him on Grinder.
All right, here we go.
the time she's got it because she does, like, she just doesn't listen and then just spit it out. She actually looks into it just enough to get some confirmation, and she did here.
Oh, I don't want.
Yeah. But definitely not in your 30s or whatever, however, or you do your own lives maybe, and you have your YouTube channel.
Now here's the interesting thing. Look at the picture that she's got here on her profile. She's got a picture of Gypsy Rose as a young kid. Now this was half an hour in, and it's a 5-hour stream. I don't know how long she's on for, but I'll try and grab the best.
And you're on TikTok as well, and you're on Instagram clearly.
Yes, yeah. I'm not on TikTok as much though. I don't usually. That's not a platform I've really used a lot, but I do have one.
Is that because, like, because I noticed I just joined TikTok a couple months ago, and I try to put up some videos, very vanilla, and every single time I'm getting videos taken down left and right. I mean, are you running into the same issue? You had with the Blanchards, specifically
Yep.
Christy.
Yep.
And you reached out to Christy.
Actually, I didn't. So I didn't reach out. It was everyone knows who Fancy is, right?
Yes, Fancy Michelli.
Yeah, I don't like her. So
That's fair.
It really frustrates me because she'll say something that like has value, but then she just goes off the deep end with stuff that just isn't true, and it just clouds everything. So it's like, anyway, she was representing that she was a spokesperson for the family, and she had actually reached out to me because I was covering a story about Munchausen by proxy. She wanted to talk to me about it.
And when you're covering Munchausen by proxy, was that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, and I was writing about it. So at the time, I had a blog, and I was writing for a blog called Pathios. And so maybe it was 2018. I don't know.
Did it include the story of Gypsy Rose, or was it just MVP?
It was Gypsy, but I had covered other cases.
Okay. And so Fancy sees this and reaches out to you from the Good Wife Network, and then
yeah, she didn't have that then though. That's not what they were called.
Okay, so she was in talks with, or she's been in relations with Christy and the Blanchards prior to you.
Yes, but she really did mislead them. I mean, I know people think that she knows so much, but she really made a lot of promises to them about delivering, and she didn't deliver anything.
So she's dug the bits into Fancy, and I think Fancy was in the comments going back at her too. So
and it's unfortunate, honestly, what happened. But it went sour, and it didn't have to go this way. Is all I'm going to say. Is like it didn't have to go to this degree.
So in 2019, you get hooked up or introduced to Christy.
Sort of. What happened? So it's like you're trying to make me go back to like 6 years in time. And it's
from the Blanchard family, who did you speak with first? Was it Gypsy? Was
Christy?
Okay, so it was Christy. Okay.
Yes. But I had actually ended up having to reach out to Christy, being like, "Oh, this person contacted me, claiming that they are representing your family. Is that true?" And she was like, "No. That's kind of how it started." And then she was like, "Oh, I watch your Duggar videos." So
I don't know what that is, but I guess it's a series of videos you've been doing.
Duggar, it's the Duggar family. They're in a cult. I cover cults.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I know you cover heavy on the Sister Wives.
Yeah,
I used to watch it. I think I watched like the first two seasons and it was out, but now they got like 100 seasons. I don't know what's happening.
It's mostly to cover polygamy, so it's kind of like a cover to cover polygamy.
Duggars are 29 kids and counting.
Yes.
One wife, I hope. One wife, maybe? I don't know.
Yes, one wife.
Okay.
Yes.
So there you go. So this is her background. What are we learning so far? Anything?
So that's interesting. So
yeah, and then I just was part of a documentary that came out on Netflix called "Dancing for the Devil" of the 7M TikTok cult.
She was part of.
So,
I have seen that. It is an excellent. It's an excellent documentary, by the way.
Yeah, I was the archival consultant for that, so I helped them with basically.
Oh, you worked
everything.
on the project.
I did. Yep.
I just thought were you featured on there as a?
My content was, yes, but like you would have seen like when Kelly Wilkin was talking about like, and then these accounts popped up, and you would see like stuff about the sex essay or whatever. Those were my accounts.
Okay. Well, I am, mostly.
Hello, Colleen. You can't listen to KJ for 40 minutes, let alone 4 hours. I know. Look, the thing was, there were some great points. Like there were some times where she really lost it, which made it a little bit more exciting. Actually, it's a shame I need to really look at the replay. I really need to do the chat replay because you need to see the chat replay because I was there for all the comments. I'm learning that she hates. Oh, yeah. Well, she does hate the Duggar family. I'd like to get the chat replay going if I could get the chat replay going because, because it was pretty good. The chat at some point I was just reading the chat. I was at work and I just was reading the chat. And she absolutely drunk, was getting rude and mad.
Korean, so I kind of understand the Korean cult, Christian cult or religious cults. Yeah. I'm very aware of that. So when I see the face of that guy, I know exactly what's happening there. But we're not going to get into that because that's not the
So that's sort of like if you're talking about like the hate, it's kind of like all comes to like that. Like Robert Shin hates me. He's suing me.
I heard about that. So you're getting sued by this, I guess this Korean pastor.
Cult leader. Yep.
And
alleged.
Yeah, it's just a crazy story. You guys check it out I believe it's on Netflix. You guys can check that out.
It was like the team is wonderful. My heart goes out to all the victims. But so like I have been able to like meet a lot of people. But Fancy had reached out to me, and then Christy was like, no. And then Christy and I just sort of started talking, and she had watched my other content. And she was like, oh, so then we just sort of became like friendly. It wasn't like really anything. And then over time, it just sort of like, I don't know, that's just kind of how it started.
And how did you all sort of connect? Did you guys speak on the phone? Was it that person?
I listened to the part of the replay for a bit and then I dropped out. So anyway, she's sort of talking about the start of her stuff. I mean, of course it is.
Aware that Gypsy has it. Gypsy
She said she has it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
but
started.
That disorder is like, the thing about it is it's super rare. There's only like 100 people, I think. And every single person that has it has completely different symptoms. And so if one person that has it has seizures, it lists that seizures can be a symptom because that one person has it.
Now, has Katie sent you all the medical documentation that she has done?
No. And
you've never seen all of it. She's never shared it.
I have seen the genetic stuff because we were talking about that in January.
Okay, but she has been known to pass it around. She passed it around to Fancy.
Not to the extent that Fancy claims.
Yeah, I don't know what Fancy claims, but Fancy has it. I've seen it. Not through her personally, but through Reddit and stuff like that.
Yeah, she didn't get those.
It's deleted. And then you have Sesbury who has it, which I don't know who she is or what she is, but it doesn't even matter. But she has it because she's friends with the Blanchards now.
Yeah.
So the medical records are out there, but you didn't receive it.
Here's the thing. Fancy has 193 pages, but that's not all of her medical records. In 2016, the DA got over 1,200 pages more.
Yeah, and you would think Hurricane Katrina, you wouldn't be able to access those.
They have them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's 193 that Fancy has, but there's more than 1,300 that she doesn't have.
What?
And on these 1,300, which I assume Sesbury has.
So that's in 2016 when they were working on the plea deal, the prosecutors had just gotten a hold of like 1,300 pages or 1,200 pages. And then the plea deal came shortly after they got those records.
So
I think this is where Fancy's like screaming in the chat. She says, I have thousands. She put 207. So this is her here. She puts 270 pages in Patreon. So what is this about me only having 100? How can anyone take this woman seriously? So, yeah.
If you don't think
Can you get a
there
FOIA for those?
Huh?
Can you get a FOIA for those?
No, you can't.
No, not for it's a
not for
HIPAA
medical
thing.
records. No.
Oh, okay.
That's medical records. It's not criminal.
I got you.
Yeah, well, the court document said 200 pages.
It wasn't a public discovery because she never went to trial. So the medical records can't be requested.
So Katie, if you feel like well, she wasn't abused in that sense, Munchausen by proxy, can you describe to us the actual abuse that she received via DD?
So I can tell you the stuff with the feeding tube is horrible.
Do you feel like the feeding tube was not necessary? Is that what you're saying?
It was never necessary.
Are you looking at that due to the documents you've seen?
Yeah, and like if you talk to anyone that knew her outside of just even Christy and Rod, because you have to remember they did live in Louisiana for a while. Like the alienation with Rod and Christy didn't really like start until they moved to Missouri.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they were never around. It was like once they left after Hurricane Katrina, then it was like Dee Dee was like, y'all are dead to me. And
I don't know the details as to the feeding tube, and I know others know more.
Failure to thrive, and that you can.
No, it wasn't really that. I mean, that's what I'm sure what is being said, but failure to thrive and all this. Okay, can I just? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to argue with people that like. I'm never going to convince people that someone that thinks they know everything about this, they think they know that she wasn't medically abused.
No one knows everything about it. I think
right, exactly. And I'm just saying that like.
But there is a good bit, and then we'll play that. So, as I said, I'm only going to show some of this, not all of it. You can go to Sir Morbid's channel and watch the rest of it if you'd like.
I'm just okay.
Go ahead. No, I'm letting you talk. I'm just saying that she. Okay, I'm just saying I believe.
I don't think that you and I should really talk about it, to be honest, because
you don't want me to talk.
No, I just don't. No. I'm just saying, like,
actually,
I don't think
it's just questions, and we're not.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to I'm just.
There's no right or wrong to this, right?
No,
we weren't there. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to share what I know, and I'm not trying to be like.
Oh, how do you know this? I guess that's my.
Well,
question.
she's just sharing her opinion and her thoughts on the matter from what she has seen.
Well, it's not just from Christy. It's from other people in the family. It's from cousins. It's from family members on Dee Dee's side. Like everyone knew that she could eat. Everyone knew that she was eating enough, but everyone also knew that she was exaggerating things and taking things to extremes. And one of the easiest ways for a Munchausen's mom to get a feeding tube is to starve their child and then say my kid doesn't eat.
So is it? Do you feel? Are you on the side of like, hey, she was a victim of Munchausen by proxy? Talking about Gypsy, of course.
I
Or
think she was a
you
victim of
question
medical.
that?
No, I don't question it. I don't think that everything that she has said she was a victim of abuse is like the eye surgery she actually needed because she had a lazy eye. So that's not Munchausen's.
Because when
she
does it come
didn't-
from Munchausen to malingering? Because you mentioned that before. Because
Well,
like,
she never
you know,
had seizures. She never had seizures ever, and she was forced to take anti-seizure medication.
Okay.
So
well,
and she
again, I
stopped-
don't want to get into the whole medical thing because again, we could, you know, like
I know, but I feel like
disagree or agree.
I think what people fail to see is like when you discount that she didn't go through that, the reason why Gypsy is so like mentally ill today is because of what her mom did to her. And
I think
no one,
I think you have something there. There has been a contribution to her mental health from her mom, but the narrative of her mom being the sole reason why. I mean, like people want to label Dee Dee as a mother that just didn't care. Like, yes, Dee Dee's a terrible person. She's a scammer, a con artist. She didn't teach her kid what right.
She didn't teach her kid. Her kid didn't have friends. Her kid didn't get to leave the house. Her kid was. I mean, I don't know how anyone like nobody's lying about.
All the time. There's video of her outside constantly.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying. I mean, you don't.
Okay, I.
So.
I mean, was Katie talking about her own son there, when she said her kid didn't leave the house? So as soon as somebody says, "I've seen such and such," someone says her kid was in brownies and chairs and other things. She was on trips for education and dancing lessons. Fancy. I remember Sir Morbid putting the video up of Gypsy just not listening, and then her face lit up when she saw the camera on her. She had a good life. So
let's get to let's not talk about that stuff.
Like I'm not here. I didn't come up here for like a debate. You guys asked me to come on and answer questions, and I'm not really interested in like. That's the hard thing is like I'm not trying to be rude. I don't want to be rude to anyone because I really appreciate you guys like.
No, this is just we're just having a lighthearted conversation. We can disagree and agree. It doesn't matter. No one's opinion.
But yeah, to me, like it doesn't even feel like it's a valid conversation to have because
we just have questions, honey. Some of us just have questions in your closer.
But you know, Katie, that people are going to have different opinions.
Maybe if I'm closer to it, maybe trust that I'm not lying when I say that like medical abuse did happen. Not everything that she went through was medical abuse, but there was medical abuse.
We are listening.
I don't think anybody's, I don't even think Nicole was even calling you out for lying about, this is yours.
Well, she says that she doesn't believe any of it happened. And I think
that's her opinion. Just as you have an opinion, it's okay.
But that's not, mine isn't an opinion. Like mine isn't an opinion. Like there's like, just because Gypsy was estranged from her dad when she was older doesn't mean that her dad and her stepmom weren't around.
Yeah, mine isn't an opinion. Mine isn't an opinion. KJ, she wasn't allowed it.
She was younger, and they were there when she was going through different procedures.
Right.
So they
well, let's move on from that, topic, and let's get into some of the newer stuff. And because I think you've been saying some stuff, and it's good to kind of get it out. And we want to know what your story is, your side of it, because how did it all come to where we're at now? Because was it like a month ago or so that you kind of disagreed with Christy or the Blanchards?
I've probably been disagreeing with them since Gypsy got out of prison.
Okay, so there were some things that you wanted to go ahead and call them out on, which you did, and then did y'all hook up again? And she called you and said, hey, and you kind of figured it out, or can you walk us through that the first time you called her out?
Well, I don't find joy in calling her out. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts me a lot to see what's happening.
Well, I can imagine because you've known her since 2019. I'm sure you considered her a friend, etc.
Yeah, I think to the extent that you can be friends when you live in different states, you know what I mean? But like from mom to mom, I think she's doing what she thinks is best, right? But they have a lot of people throwing money at them right now. And a lot of people that don't have good intentions are giving them advice, and
she doesn't want to be rude, but she's as rude as I know. That's the thing. And anyone that disagrees with her, that's what she does. She doubles down when anybody dares disagree with her. They just had a difference of opinion. Both can be right.
When you have like networks that are up here that are like controlling things, and you're just this like measly little person down here going, this is probably not the best choice for Gypsy. Like you can't air out the network is bigger than you, right? So like I can scream all day being like, you shouldn't do this, but they're under contract, right? So I can't. My opinion doesn't really matter because if they don't do what the network wants, they can get sued.
What was the initial purpose of involving you early on in 2019, and then fast forward after her release? Like, did Christy really have an idea of how she wanted to, like have you involved in future sort of things that they were planning?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I was helping them with wasn't really anything on social media. Like because I have a platform that's relatively, I mean, my YouTube channel is like 373,000.
Yeah, and you got
like-
a big following there, and it
And I've
sucks
got
that the
You had to put that in, right? How big the channel was, right?
algorithm sucks on YouTube, but that's not your fault. Anyhow, go on.
Oh, my videos, I mean, I have over 200 million views on my channel. And
Yeah, but it probably could be more if they didn't change the algorithm, but I'm not going to talk about that. I know how that
Okay.
goes, but
I'm doing okay. Like, I'm not worried about it.
it could be better, a lot better. But let's move on.
I'm sure it could. I'm not really worried about that. But I got lost train of thought when you, I was more like, if they had questions about social media, I would help with that kind of stuff. Like, not trolling people, not that kind of stuff, but like, Gypsy had no background in social media, right?
Is that
so,
what
like,
they were asking you for? Maybe some advice on how to handle?
Yeah, like I
this monetized
offered,
platform?
yeah, and just like, how do you engage and do this and do that, and like just dealing with hate. It wasn't like, I was never like their bulldog or whatever. Like, some people have said that like they did things for them. That's not really what I
And
did.
why all of a sudden now not that you turned on them, but I'm just saying now you're saying, hey, I want to expose some of the truth now. It's about time.
Because
This is fascinating, isn't it? And nobody's allowed to talk, really. It's all about her. We're now in.
it's gotten to a point where Gypsy's out of control. And she's hurting people.
How was she out of control when she first came out? When did you notice her being
She's
out of
been
control?
out of
Can you
control.
define that, please?
She has been out of control the entire time she's been out.
In what sense? So you say out of control. What does that mean to you when you observe?
Okay,
someone
so
who's
when
been-
I observe, this is like a day in the life of Gypsy is like, she starts 17 fires because she's getting into fights with people on TikTok. She's trolling and leaving nasty comments. She's posting videos that are socially inappropriate. She's posting birth certificates she shouldn't be posting because the girl has literally no social skills. She doesn't comprehend what you should and shouldn't share. She's like a sociopath, but she's also like a 12-year-old. So it's almost like she needs a conservatorship because it feels like she's a ticking time bomb and she's constantly going to set off little bombs all over the place. And they're constantly like chasing her around, trying to put out one bomb, and then the next one is already lit and fused.
And when you view that, these bombs going off everywhere that she's
Yeah.
setting, what do you take from that? Does she like this sort of attention? Does she seek it? Does she like? I mean,
She's
from what
addicted
you know,
to the attention. She's 100% addicted to the attention.
the drama.
She doesn't-
She wants to go the
she's-
drama route.
Yes, she cannot live without drama.
Is Christy a part of that plan?
Christy spends a lot of time trying to diffuse a lot of that. She's like mostly in the background telling Gypsy not to say something. Like, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, you shouldn't be doing that.
And have you spoken with either Ryan or Ken?
Ryan would never talk to me. Ryan was he didn't like Gypsy's associates.
He didn't like the people that she was involving herself with on social media. And you
No,
being one, maybe
or
Sesbury.
her friends or her family. He didn't like her family.
Ryan didn't
he
like her
wanted-
family.
Mm-mm.
Do you feel? I mean, it seems like the guy wanted to like the family. He just wasn't accepted for some reason.
No, it wasn't that he wasn't accepted. He was, they lived a couple hours apart.
3-4 hours, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that I think the family could see that Gypsy and Ryan were not really, like, maybe Ryan really liked Gypsy, but I don't think they really felt like Gypsy knew that she loved Ryan. And I think they could tell that. Okay. And
Oh boy. This is hilarious, isn't it? Well, she starts blocking towards the end, I think, and starts getting rid of people.
like I said, Gypsy starts fires. She gets married and they can't control that. She gets, literally, she leaves Ryan and then they're like, you can't get into a new relationship. Don't run off with Ken. She's got divorce saying, do not post that you're in a new relationship. Don't try to make your divorce harder. And then 2 days later, she's sending videos and photographs to TMZ. So, they can tell her all the time not to do something, but Gypsy doesn't listen. That's
It's fair to say that Gypsy has a relationship with TMZ, correct?
What'd you say?
It's fair to say or assume that Gypsy has a relationship with TMZ, that she's been feeding them information.
She has them with every tabloid. She, like, if there's a story she wants out, she will contact all of them.
I don't know who the other people are, to be honest with you, short order. I don't know. But there is somebody that jumps on panel that really scares the living daylights out of her.
And if
I
she thinks
agree
that,
with that. Yeah,
if she thinks that a negative story is going to come out about her, she'll get ahead of it and she'll contact TMZ with
I
like
see that. I see that.
with the alternate
So-
narrative.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
so is TMZ her go-to as far as I'm sorry, I'm doing live. So is TMZ her go-to for a spin, like they're her spin doctors?
I don't think that TMZ is like a spin doctor, and I want to be clear. Like, I don't think any of the tabloids are really spinning things. I don't think they even know that they're spinning things. It's just that Gypsy just contacts you and is like, "This is what it is," and then they just publish it. You know, because they're looking.
She'll send
like,
pictures. That's the first thing
Yeah.
TMZ will post. But
Right now,
TMZ
you know,
has
like-
no freaking loyalty to anybody, even if you're pro or
no.
con them.
No, and I
Or
don't think
integrity. No
Huh?
integrity.
like they'll just post whatever. They don't give a shit, right? So
Right.
Yeah, they have no integrity at all.
yeah. Like I'm not a huge fan of them. So they'll just post whatever. They don't care.
Right?
They don't really care if it's like true or false, whatever. A lot of the interviews that she did were set up by Lifetime.
She doesn't like them.
So like
So-
pe-
So
But yeah,
bring us
she def-
up to
she
speed
definitely-
on the first time that you decided, hey, there's something wrong here, and I'm going to go ahead and expose and blast Christy or Gypsy. I don't remember the exact post that you put out there the very first time. This may be a month ago.
I think it was in May. It was in May.
Okay, so can you walk us through that moment? Because that was the first time you disagreed and wanted to.
I
See.
had been disagreeing in the background. And here, what I will say about them is that most of them don't agree with Gypsy. Like they don't. They don't. Mia does not agree with what her sister's doing.
And this is
And-
according to what? Your conversations with Mia, or you're just
Like,
assuming? that
No,
that's
this
the
is
case?
like directly from Christy's mouth or from other members of the family. Like I'm telling you, I don't just speak to Christy. And so when I'm telling you that like they don't agree with her, it's like they don't agree with her. Like Rod doesn't agree with a lot of it, but he's gone a lot. But even Christy doesn't agree with a lot of it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm late, so I might have already missed this, but like, how did you go from like being a hardcore supporter, all of us were wrong about what we said about Gypsy, and now to where you're using like Ruby as an avatar?
Okay, so it's I was never a supporter. I want to be clear. Like I'm not a fan.
You're never a
Your
supporter of Gypsy.
Instagram was supportive of her.
I'm supportive of her as a person,
Whoa.
but I was saying like I'm not like a stan.
Hi, Jax. You were disappointed he had the KJ on? It's interesting, isn't it? A lot of people, I mean, I don't know why the comments, maybe you didn't put the comments on, but there were so many comments about someone says here that KJ's son doesn't need needs a speeding tube too. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. She says she's not a fan or a stan of Gypsies. Well, what was she then? Because she went very hard against anybody that spoke out against her.
Or whatever you're calling it. Like,
No, I'm not meaning that. I'm not meaning your
Yeah, like
but
I would say that like I was coming from a place of being a mother. I'm 45 and I have an 11-year-old boy that's disabled that has a lot of medical conditions, and so I had a lot of empathy for Gypsy, and I just wanted to see the best for her, and I wanted to hope that like with the right support systems around her and the right people and the right services that she could thrive and become a better person and really get the help that she needed. But it was very clear within a few months that wasn't going to happen.
So you've known Gypsy since 2019, right?
Yeah, like I haven't had direct communication with her, but I've had like communication with her through her mom, through Chrissy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't know her really while she was locked up.
No, but I knew everything that was happening.
Okay.
So I knew like
So-
they weren't like they didn't want her to get married to Ryan.
But do
Uh,
you agree like with the things Christy has been doing? I think she's one of Gypsy's worst people to be around.
I think that it's really hard for Christy, frankly. I think it's like I wouldn't want to be in her shoes, is what I'm saying. You know, when you're trying to pick up the pieces of someone that's a tornado and you don't have the actual skills to manage that tornado's personality disorder. And sometimes people are either going to be like Mia, where they want to hold her accountable, or there's going to be enablers. I would say Christy's kind of an enabler, but I think her enabling is out of guilt.
She was a Gypsy route or fan. There's no way KJ was not her friend in the background. No, that's right. We've all seen through it.
Because she feels
She's a perpetrator. Like I think she played a huge part in the divorce, and then just I don't know.
No.
I think that Gypsy is Christy's new cash cow.
well. I think it's very easy because you're watching a show to make that assumption. But Gypsy and Ryan were not good before that conversation. Like
That was kind of obvious to me. Yeah, I felt that.
like Gypsy was never Ken was never out of the picture ever. She talked
I
to him
kind of got that from
Yeah.
her saying that she had talked to him like the day before they were getting married or something like that.
basically what Gypsy's been doing for years is anytime she gets into a fight with Ryan, she runs back to Ken, and anytime she gets into a fight with Ken, she runs back to Ryan. And so it's been a love triangle for like 3 years. He's had another girlfriend, but he's always been in the background, like never far away. And he's always been like he had another girlfriend, then he got married, and then she got married, and I think it's just Gypsy just doesn't think forward. She's very impulsive, and she also has she weaponizes, she triangulates, right? Because she's narcissistic,
Yeah.
and she puts them in
Sociopathic at that.
yeah, so it's all games, and I think it's easy to look at Christy and say that she's the problem, but I can see it from Christy's view of what Christy's managing, and it would actually make Christy look like a piece of shit.
So, Katie, tell us the first fallout you had publicly, I guess, which was a month ago or so, with who was it, Christy or just Gypsy and all of
There's
them?
never really been like, I would say it's never really been like, there was never like a fight. You know what
To the repeat, I know that's the thing. She's got herself convinced, and anybody that tries to say to her like that they've got some information, she has to have the most information more than anybody else, and everybody else is wrong.
I mean? Like, it's more just
Or
like,
disagreement or something like that. You're like, hey, I don't like what's going on here.
it's
Can you
more
explain
like,
the first time that occurred and when?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, it
I
was
think it was a
when
month
the-
ago from us, from our
it was,
standpoint.
no, it was in May. It was in May.
Okay, so what happened in May where it pushed you to, hey, I got to say something?
Because Gypsy was getting really too,
She's reading the
what they
chat
wanted
here.
for, what they envisioned for her was not what she's doing. Okay, like
When you were saying
They
Gypsy
did-
was getting a little too, what, like,
she's
did you
getting
feel
to
like she was not the person that
she's getting
you
to
thought
like,
this entire time she was?
she doesn't care about anything but fame.
We see that, yep. And that
She
bothered
doesn't-
you.
Clear.
Huh?
And that bothered you, I would assume.
It bothered me. It bothered me because they wanted her to do the advocacy work because they were very, her
When
dad.
you're saying
you
they,
watch-
are you talking? Who are you talking about specifically?
the
Christy?
family,
The
the
family,
family.
the Blanchard.
Okay.
Okay.
The Blanchards. If you watch the series, you should see how her dad feels. Her dad doesn't want her to be famous. He doesn't like or
Infamous.
support.
Yep.
No, he doesn't. Her dad doesn't like her using fame now to get free shit. To get
Well, off of killing her mom. Infamous for that.
it's no. Can I'm sorry.
I'm just.
I know.
not
Can I
with
just?
that. No.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can I just like
Correct
speak? It's
myself.
hard
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I know. I'm sure you're like excited. I have ADHD, so when I get interrupted, then I lose my track.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to actually assert myself. I get really uncomfortable when I have to like, because I have a tendency to like kind
No,
of
you're
talk
good.
slower.
You're good.
Okay. No, Desperate really doesn't agree with Dee Dee was a con artist, and Dee Dee used Gypsy to get free shit, and he
She doesn't like being interrupted, you see. They interrupted her.
and she defrauded a lot of people. She defrauded a lot of organizations. Gypsy got to go and see and meet a lot of celebrities and had a lot of like accolades and trips and praise for fraud. And that's what he doesn't want her doing because it's what she knows. All she knows how to do is to play a part and to get
And
attention.
that's exactly
and,
what she's doing.
Yeah,
Right,
I agree.
right.
That's exactly what she's doing.
right. And that's what he doesn't agree with. He doesn't like any of
Yeah.
this. He
Mm,
doesn't
okay.
like any of it at all.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
when she put up that gift registry,
Ugh.
I can tell you for a fact there was like heads rolling at the house when she did that. Like
Really?
Oh,
good.
I didn't know that.
Even
They were-
Christy, because I could see
Yes.
Christy being like, "Good job, baby."
No. Christy was
No.
furious.
So,
Oh.
do you still have a relationship with Christy?
I haven't talked to her in a week.
I would figure she might be mad at you after some of those posts.
Well,
but
it seems like you
I have.
made
I
friends
have-
again after
No.
May, I guess. Like, or you
So,
became cordial.
here's the thing. I'm not a confrontational person, right? I don't like to have fights with people. And I also can see what's happening. And I can tell that like nothing I say is going to make a dent in what the big picture is because of the network and the money and all these idiots that are telling them that she can get famous and make money off this, right?
Sure.
And I'm not supportive. And I've said from day one that I don't agree with her profiting off of her crime. I think it's really disgusting
Yes,
to
it is.
write books, to make money. I think it's, I flat out I screamed last week and said she is not an influencer. Like I was yelling on the phone.
So
And
you're yelling on the phone to,
to Christy, yeah. And
and
Christy,
Christy
wasn't-
was saying, "Hey, she's an influencer. Leave her alone.
No,
Let her do what she
well,
wants."
I would say Christy,
is Christy scared of Gypsy?
uh,
Not in like a "I'm gonna kill you" type of way, but in a like "I don't want to cross her" type of way.
yes.
Why
yes.
does she want to be in her good graces? Do you know that insight? Because we could only assume it's
Because
money. But
I think people like read into this too much.
but why would she be in her good
Because
graces?
she's
I
my
would focus more on
stepmother.
Mia. I mean, that's my real daughter who
She's,
is in nursing
Really?
school.
she does focus on Mia. Like I think it's just because what we see online is like associated with Gypsy. She has a relationship with her daughter Mia.
But
Like,
why does she placate Gypsy? Like, why does she? She doesn't hold her accountable, like you said earlier.
she doesn't hold her accountable because Gypsy is scary.
Dear.
Like
Scary.
she has, she's got a
How?
temper. She has a temper, and she's unpredictable. And
So does she just want peace in her house? She's afraid that if she rubs Gypsy the wrong way, that Gypsy's
well,
just
she doesn't want Gypsy to feel like she's been given up on, right? Like
The way I see it, it's like
Can I-
Christy.
I know I get you guys. I have so many questions coming at me right now. Can I just answer the
Sorry.
question?
Yeah. One by one.
I know it's like you're all like excited. It's not malicious, okay? It's not like I think Christy's doing the best she can with
I know you're all excited. All right. Good. Oh, I'm going to have to pay more attention to that, Ruth. That's interesting. That's an interesting question. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Oh yeah. Oh no. The injury.
With what she's given, she's not neglecting Mia. She's not neglecting Dylan. Dylan's married. Her son Dylan is married, and Mia's in college. She's not home very much at all. And I can tell you for a fact that Christy carries so much guilt.
Oh, I don't buy that. But okay.
Guilt
Okay.
and
I can tell you for a fact. She loves to say, I can tell you for a fact. I can tell you for a fact. Well, no, you can't because you're not there. How can you? She's been bitten by this woman. And she's been bitten by them, and she's still defending them.
in the matter of she should have been there for Gypsy, even though it's not her responsibility. It should have been Rod's. And
Yes, but
Maybe she should have told people that she knew Gypsy could walk this whole time. I feel guilty about that too.
but so
I know it's easy.
But sorry, go ahead.
what was that, Kate?
It's hard for me to open up when I just have to be clear. Like, I don't dislike these people. I don't hate them, and it's easy to like someone that dislike someone that you don't know. But like, I would hope that like when I'm sharing, that you would be respectful to the people I'm talking about, just because I have feelings like, and I know things about them. That it's like, it's easy when you see someone online to make opinions about them. But
Yeah, I don't see. I
But-
don't think
hold
anyone's
on.
disrespecting.
No,
I know, but you're-
I'm not disrespecting her. I just have questions because, like, I mean,
we're just
is
kind of.
it just-
Well, I'm curious as to.
Not looking for the attack, Katie. We're just
I know,
asking.
I know, I just get very like uncomfortable.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. We're just having a casual conversation on a
you-
couch somewhere.
are you
I'm
afraid of
very-
not being in their good graces anymore?
No, I'm not worried about that. Like, that's done. I cut them off. Like,
Christy included.
What was the
Yes.
decision? Can you walk us
Because I
through your
can't.
decision making to cut them off? Like, where did you have enough? And you said, I saw enough. I heard enough. I'm going to speak out now.
I think it was when I watched Mia, because I feel a lot like the way Mia does. And Mia was getting very frustrated with Christy. Okay. And
You're
I
talking
don't
about
agree with-
episode 8 in the dine. I guess they're having
Yes.
dinner or lunch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think that as much as I care for Christy, I'm not. She's chasing money with Gypsy right now.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And
And you're saying this,
seeing
saying Christy is interested in the money.
as much as Gypsy is.
What about Ken?
And-
Do you know anything about that situation? Because he's unemployed.
Well, can we just stick to one?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do that. Let's stick with Gypsy and whatever Christy's name. Yeah, Christy. There we go.
So okay, well, I'm not trying to skip to other people, but
She's trying to control everything. Yes, she likes to be in control of everything. That would be evident there. Okay.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay.
I've noticed on like your Instagram or some of your content that you don't like Ryan pretty much.
No,
So, and why? Can you tell me why you don't like him? I mean, I'm not saying he's a good guy or like, 'cause I don't know the dude. You
I
know?
don't Starlight. You got some echo going on. Do you have something playing in the background or no?
No, are you sure it's me that's echoing?
I think so.
okay, so what I want to say here is that I have empathy for I have empathy for Ryan for the games that Gypsy plays, because I know that when she's keeping the guys off balance, it makes them act erratic because they're responding to her behavior, right? So like, she's making them feel insecure, and so then they're responding by being insecure, right? And then their behaviors are triggered, which brings out the worst in them. And so it just fuels like very toxic interactions. But on the same token, Ryan and her fought very similar.
Do you think that do I still have an echo or anything?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Although the bubble's not lighting up.
So when I say that he fought similar, is if she would do something, he would just be like, oh, just go call Ken, right? Or
Right, which is his insecurity that she kind of created.
right, she
with
created, but
that.
at the same time, there's weird things that happened. Like, he has abandonment issues. I think he said that on the series. And so he very much didn't like want to be away from her. And I think, right. And but
I was
what I
thinking
can say about that is that when you're transitioning from a relationship where the person that you were talking to was always available to you, and now they're not, because there's a real world and they didn't have to deal with the real world before, he was having a hard time adjusting to Gypsy not being in prison and is available, right? Because he could just have her to himself,
Right.
and he can't in the real world. And he liked having her to himself a lot.
Right. He's got his, not so great qualities, but he was, I don't know if that's me echoing, is it?
He definitely was interested in fame. I'll say that.
Well, but what I was going to say is like, he's kind of more responsible. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Just
Should
continue.
I leave and come back?
Yeah, come back.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Whatever.
Starlight.
I will say that, like,
She's so cute.
I think you'd have to have something a little bit going on that's not right with you to be going after a convict that murdered their mom that has severe mental health issues, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've always
So
said
you're not,
Ryan's
you're probably
kind of
yourself.
weird for
Yeah, right.
writing.
And I
a
think,
prisoner.
yeah,
murder.
and I think Ken is equally as weird. Like, what are
Absolutely.
these? And then they're going after a woman that has
Okay.
no life experience. That's weird. Like, he
Right,
knew,
she's like,
huh?
she's like a child. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
I
so
think that Ryan kind of held her to not a standard, but like to some sort of a responsibility.
I
With
think
Kim, I think it's more like, oh, we're two stupid idiots in love, and we're just gonna make dumb choices and not think about the consequences.
Ken doesn't
Very
have,
unrealistic.
Ken just doesn't have like a career. He was a bartender,
Yeah.
so it's just a
Are you
different
talking about
vibe.
he doesn't have a career now in where are they, Louisiana?
Well, I mean, I don't know about you,
Nick
but like
Moon,
you're not gonna be a
Crescent Moon,
bartender forever,
donated
right? Like,
$19.99 through Super Chat.
that's not like if you're gonna become a father and a parent, it's hard to be a bartender and a parent. You know, like those
your
were,
own restaurant.
oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen. Like now he's having a baby with a murderer.
So, so you admit that Gypsy is a murderer.
I've always said she's a murderer.
And did you feel like she served enough time? 8.5 years?
I actually think she should still be in prison just based on how she's acting right now. But I can't control what the plea deal was.
Correct. No one
I
can.
can't, and I can't control what the mitigating factors were. And I like it's a hard one because it's like I have empathy for a lot of abuse victims that end up killing people, but at the same time, like I think that too much of the responsibility went on to Nick and not enough on her.
So, Katie, what got you in?
That's the first I've heard that. Who? I'm sure she has said that he should be away for a long time because he did it, and that he was manipulating her. Do you remember her saying that? She's never. That was the first time I heard her say that. There's a couple of times I went, "What now? What now?"
Into the mode within the past 48 hours to finally start putting out some tea as far as Gypsy lying, Gypsy being exposed for playing twisted games.
I got really upset with the last episode. That
So
was
okay, so you watched the last episode and that upset you, and then that triggered you or kind of made you want to say, hey, this is not right.
Yep, because I knew what happened. I knew what was happening. Like obviously, like you guys, I knew. You're watching what happened on the show. I can tell you like the stuff that wasn't aired. You know what I mean?
What wasn't aired that we were missing here that wasn't on the show?
Well, God, so much.
Well, let's start from.
What were some of the issues? Like
Karen Bluebird donated $2
with
through
how
Super Chat.
Gypsy is
Get
handling
Katie
herself
joy
on
off your
social
channel.
media.
All she does is lie.
Was that a problem with the family or?
Yes. Let me finish answering the question about
Okay.
Super chats were funny. The super chats were funny. So,
How bad?
because he's tried to answer that question, like ask that question like 6 times. Like, what actually was the reason why
I would
you?
just leave up to it.
Yeah.
Casual, same thing.
So what I'll say is that I knew what was happening behind the scenes, and I knew the conversations that were being had, and I knew how stressed out people were in the family about what was happening and how Gypsy was acting, and getting her out of the marriage was a whole thing. And Gypsy and Ryan both have really bad tempers, and so there was a lot of
Gypsy. Sorry.
both Ryan and Gypsy have tempers, and there was a lot of fights. You didn't see on the show.
Well, in TMZ, she was having to hide in the bathroom because of some incident. And it was
what?
It was reported to TMZ before the series started, the reality show, where Gypsy was saying she had to hide in the bathroom because Ryan was.
Sorry, hold on. Trying to find a spot to talk. My son is ready for his bath.
Oh, that's okay.
I didn't want to interrupt. My son has
No
autism,
worries.
so I didn't want to.
No
He gets very weird about when I'm up.
yes, now we're going to hear about their son, by the way, the person that she never talks about. How with other women on the panel, she's totally hogging every issue, jumping on people and talking really fast. Well, I have sped it up, by the way, short order. I'll pull it back to normal. I've actually got it at 1.75, but let's see what she sounds like when she's normal.
On the phone, he doesn't like hearing me talk.
For a bit.
I was
There was a
saying
lot-
that
Go ahead.
it was reported to TMZ, which I'm guessing by Gypsy, that Ryan had done something to the point where she felt she had to hide in the bathroom. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that actually.
Well, why
happened.
didn't they show that on the show?
I don't know. I don't think there were cameras there that night. I don't think.
Well, Gypsy said there were because it was said in TMZ it would play out on the show. It was all caught on camera.
Yeah, but Katie's not
Oh,
responsible
okay.
for the editing.
I know,
part
no,
of
I'm
the
just
show,
asking.
so, you
No,
know.
Okay,
and
so
she was talking about Ryan has a temper.
they both
So-
do. They both do. I want to be clear, but he's a lot. I don't know if you guys know, she's like only 4'10" and a half, maybe.
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's short, and he's like over 6 feet, I think. And
Yeah,
he's like
He's huge.
He's like, and he's like 300 some pounds.
Yeah, he's a big old dude.
Yeah, and so
No,
and I don't know what the truth is, but I mean, I know that when it happened, their production did have to get involved because Christy got called by production. They were worried about the way that Ryan was treating Gypsy, and they were worried about if the two of them needed to like be
Separated.
Yeah.
But are you hearing like all this stuff about Ryan from Christy herself? Like that's your source, right? To this sort of information.
Well, I mean, I talked to Gypsy about what happened, and I talked to.
But you're
Christy.
two liars. They're both liars.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I know Ryan's not a good person.
Okay,
but
if production is calling them and they're not,
okay,
you
I
know,
got you.
and Gypsy's lawyer had to get involved too.
What?
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So
That incident specifically?
yeah. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, like it's not a fake story. Like, but I don't know to what extent happened. But it was just things got loud. Like no hands were laid on anyone. Right.
Probably she was like, I've been fucking kidding. No, I'm joking.
I don't know what the fight was about. I think I don't know. I mean, what set them off were dumb things. I mean, you know, you saw on the show that he didn't like it that she cleaned out the refrigerator.
Girl, she did more than clean out that refrigerator.
Well,
She
yeah,
threw
but
away
you know what I mean, like-
everything.
Well, okay, fine. I'm just saying, like, he didn't like that, right? Like, he got upset
It was
about
kind of weird.
I would be upset too if I came home and all my shit was gone out of my fridge.
I know, but like, anyways.
But he didn't get like irate. It wasn't
No,
scary.
No,
I think Gypsy overreacts, but I'll be quiet.
All I know is that her attorney had to get involved, and because it was getting loud, and because she's on parole, they don't want neighbors calling the police on her.
Oh damn.
Or on him, right? Like if there's a domestic violence situation.
We already know Gypsy
Wait,
is afraid of going back to prison.
Domestic violence? I'm
no,
sorry,
no,
Morbid.
no.
Okay, I just want to be clear on
I
that.
mean, like domestic disturbance is like,
Okay.
Like, you know, like when you're in an apartment complex and your neighbors start screaming and yelling and like.
Yeah,
Toxic
I
calls,
got you.
yeah.
I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, no. There was no domestic violence. I used
So
the wrong
the
word.
fear that Gypsy has constantly is she doesn't want to go back to prison or be. She will even give up money, TikTok money, for that very purpose of not being able or going back to prison.
Yeah, Katie doesn't seem to like anybody knowing anything that she doesn't know. And she'll always say, what I know is this. Well, and as I said, they asked, did this come from Gypsy? And then two liars. And she doesn't like the fact that her sources are actually, you know, being called liars.
A chance of that happening is not going to be something she's happy with.
Right. And they just, you know, so there was concern that like if these fights keep escalating, and this was when they were splitting up, right? So imagine when you're splitting up with someone, feelings are heightened, right? And sometimes when you're heightened, some men get angry, you know, and sometimes our first line of emotion is anger and yelling. And, you know,
At the end of the day, none of us were there to see what happened
I'm
between
just
the
saying,
two
like,
of
at the end
them.
of the day, he's not perfect. She's not perfect. The relationship should have never happened. That's what I'll say is like they never should have been married. They were not.
I agree with that.
They were not a good fit. And their relationship did not translate to the real world. Ryan is a homebody, and Gypsy doesn't want to be a homebody, you know? And she was in Lake Charles, and she didn't have any family there. She didn't have any friends there. She didn't know anyone there. And she didn't have a car. And so she could do things when Ryan was home from work. Otherwise, she was at the apartment all day.
But she knew what she was. Well, I won't debate. You said you don't want to debate, and I'm a debater.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you, like, that was the situation, is what the situation was. I don't think she adequately considered the future because she doesn't think ahead. If I can't express this enough, you can't think rational and think like Gypsy.
So Katie, let's stay on topic here.
Yeah,
the
Gypsy
very
doesn't
first
think-
time,
she doesn't think forward.
and I don't want to say the very first time you turned on the Blanchards or whatnot, but the very first time that you're publicly sort of, I guess, I don't know, talking against what Christy was doing and what the Blanchards were doing.
Yeah.
Walk us through that, because a lot of people thought, well, wow, Katie Joy.
I know people don't know what to decide. They're like, is she going to go back? No, I'm done. I'm 100% done. Like,
what was the problem you had initially back in May or whenever that was? The first time?
It was building. You have to understand, it was building.
So it's interesting, isn't it?
So it was building from the moment that Gypsy got out of prison, from January to May.
Yes.
And what was building exactly? Can you fill us in on that and how you were feeling? And what
Before
was
she was released from prison, I said, I will not be supportive if she uses this platform to profit off of profit. I won't be supportive of this anymore. I can't support it.
So as you see her TikTok and her the evaluation of her being $3 million net worth.
Yeah, I know you're such a good interviewer, but
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get to I just want to understand.
I know.
Your story.
So I wanted to say that, like, I said I wouldn't be supportive of that. I went through the Son of Sam laws with them. I read them all the laws about the illegality.
I know about this, yes.
Profiting off of crime. I explained to them that even though they don't think it's going to happen, that any one of Dee Dee's siblings can sue Gypsy's ass and take all of the earnings. I explained to them that the state of Missouri can take the money from them. I explained to them that the federal government could take the money from them. I explained to them that the state of Louisiana could take it from them. The state of Louisiana actually has a law against this. She can't be doing this, but because the crime happened in Missouri, there's weird jurisdictional issues.
So as this is building up, as you described, from January to possibly May, the very first time, but
So she's read to them all the laws. Wouldn't their lawyer be telling them all of this? Would you be listening to what Kate Joy's telling you? I'm just asking a question.
but then you decided to publicly say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to make a video, or I'm going to publicly
Because I was
call her
getting,
out. And Christy,
here's the thing. I have a public platform, and I was one of the larger creators that was connected to them, right?
Mhm.
Hold on. There's my dogs. Hold on. My dogs are barking. Hey.
calm down, Pixie. No, that's not Pixie. It's a bigger dog. I bet it's a bigger dog.
What's that other? It's Parker.
It's a Yorkshire Terrier.
It's a hound.
Oh, it's a hound? Basset hound? Oh, those are the
No,
best dogs.
Oh,
Coon
hound dog.
Oh, hound dog.
Coon hound. She's like 60
I like
grams.
hounds.
Yeah.
I have
She's
a
all, bark.
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
She's all bark and some bite. Come on.
Yeah, my Dexter is all bark and no bite.
She'll nip at people if she doesn't like you. It's so
Oh, he
she's,
doesn't nip at anything but a tiny.
Watch out, Ken.
yeah. No, I'm
Oh,
glad
I
I have
was
her.
muted. Sorry.
Okay, let's go inside. Come on. She's just barking at the Pomeranians next door. Okay. I'm sorry. What was the question again?
So the question is from Jan.
Hi, what's next? I was in this live. She was barely tolerated. It was a very interesting. I was in and out. I was there for some of it, and I missed some of it, and I just had to work. I mean, imagine having to work while this was all happening. Wasn't happy.
January
Oh,
to
yes.
May, and then
Yeah.
you decided to come out and say, hey, enough is enough. I want to say something, finally, against
Yeah,
Christy. I want to say
because-
something against Gypsy.
Oh yeah. So the Son of Sam laws, and I was explaining to them that the Petries, any one of the Petries can sue their ass, because they can. Any one of Dee Dee's siblings, her aunts, could sue her and take every dime. And I said to her, if people start going online and saying that Gypsy's making millions, you better prepare for a lawsuit.
When you say you said to her, who are you talking to? Christy?
Christy.
Okay.
If I say something to Christy, Gypsy's gonna hear it.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah. That's
Did you
for
talk
sure.
to Gypsy outside of prison?
Yeah. Yep.
What kind of conversations did you guys have?
Gypsy.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
let
I'm
me just
curious.
finish about. So I was trying to explain to them like that if she goes that route, everyone's gonna hate her. And
Like
I
me,
said,
I did.
yeah.
But what
My
other
theory-
else
hold on,
route does she
hold on,
have to get
Okay.
such a big base, right? 10 million followers.
I know, but it's all based on her murdering her mom. It's just
We know that, but
no, but I told them that it doesn't matter that she thinks that there's a public narrative that she's a victim and that this murder was justified. I said it doesn't matter. She's still a convicted murderer, and there's going to be millions and millions and millions of people that are going to hate her because of that, regardless of what happened to her and regardless if she was a victim. Because murder is a crime that for many is unforgivable, and it doesn't matter what she went through that caused her to murder that, because there's plenty of victims that don't murder perpetrators, right? And so I was like, she's not going to be loved. You're going to throw her out on social media.
So my neck hurts from shaking my head so much. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit further ahead. All right. I'm sorry, I'm just jumping around.
Last week, he said we have to talk to Missouri about that one.
there's a lot of, so what the old,
Oh,
And for some women, for
that's
some women,
what she's talking about, the pregnancy.
there's not a lot that like.
because you don't
if
do
I was-
live streams or shows or podcasts.
No,
so.
and I do interviews sometimes, but it just never really made sense for my channel for what I do to interview them. And it didn't really, to me, I didn't know if my audience would be all that interested in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
And
but
I
the
don't- and I
Gypsy's
don't-
pregnancy lie that you've exposed in a 30-minute video within the past 24 hours.
Okay with that,
Can you just lay that out real quickly on?
documentary.
yeah, but you keep asking me that. And then
I'm
you
sorry,
also
I don't mean to. I want to. I don't mean
You got
to.
excited because I said someone told her she's not like the Kardashians.
I know I keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah,
there.
so some of us
What are those lies? The pregnancy lies that you
Well, so
shoot out?
they were wanting to get her pregnant, right? And so because Gypsy is a hollow human that has no personality of her own, if someone tells her to do something, then that's what she decides she wants to do, right? But Gypsy has always wanted
Whoopi versus
baby,
Whoopi
but she
donated
also thinks she's
$2 through
famous.
Super
Like, she
Chat.
really thinks she's
Why
famous
didn't
so much
Gypsy
so
ever
the
let
Parole
Katie
Board
interview
had to
her?
convince her that she wasn't famous because they were like, "Do you think you have fans?" She really does think she has fans, and
Yeah, they're all 13.
so she says, "You're not a fucking Kardashian. We're not doing this for a storyline." But then also the guys that are like swinging their privates and fighting over Gypsy because she's making
Where is
like,
this? I want to see
attention.
this. I love.
Well,
transcribing.
it's, I'm just being
I'm gonna
silly.
write that down.
But
Oh,
like
you're fake.
the rooster fight that's happening between Ken and
Ted,
Ryan because she's
or-
Ken and Ryan because she's creating that rooster fight, and they're all like
Steve.
they want her to lay the golden egg, right? And both guys were pretty desperate to get her pregnant.
Okay.
Because they
Do you believe that
everyone
Gypsy's
around-
pregnant?
It's funny that she talks about the golden egg. Remember, that's what her husband referred to her as, the goose. that lays the golden egg. Do you remember that?
Yes, she's pregnant. She's gone to the
And
doctor. Like,
do you think it's
they,
who's the father,
I know
Ryan or
what the-
Ken, in your opinion?
I have no idea. I know what the gender is, but I'm not going to say what it is.
If you had advice for Ryan Anderson right now, going through a divorce in Louisiana and considering the state laws,
But wait,
out
I'm
there,
not done.
what would
I'm
you
not
say
done
to
with
him?
but I'm not done with the pregnancy lies.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, I'm ADD clearly.
Because in 5 more minutes, you're going to be like, what was the pregnancy lie?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but go ahead.
So anyways, she says that, so Lifetime wants to get her pregnant. And then Ryan and her, the whole time they're together, are literally actively trying to get her pregnant. And everyone in the family is like petrified of her getting pregnant because she's like a 12-year-old that's a sociopath that can't even take care of herself. And they're like, she's not ready for that at all. She doesn't know how to do anything in life.
She's
her
actually
mom was
32, turning 33, but
correct, but she's not
mentally
like a
12-year-old.
She's mentally like a 12-year-old and with sociopathic, like psychopathic tendencies. So it's kind of dangerous. And it's like putting that into the world and then having them get pregnant. The child will have so many problems because she hasn't had the therapy she needs to recover. And
It's like worse than 16 and pregnant.
yes, it is, because you're talking about someone that's so developmentally stunted and then on top of that, like with severe mental illness. And people were just like, no, she's not ready for this, you know? And like Mia said, when it came to Ryan, like, why are you attracted to Gypsy? Like, what is she offering you? Right? Like, she can hardly give to herself. What does she have to offer to anyone else? She can't. She really can't. It's all like they're all chasing fame. Like Ryan was willing to do, he wanted to go on the press circuit without her. Like he was all about the fame.
Ryan was.
Yeah, he liked attention.
Yes.
He probably did a poll about it.
What about Ken? What do you feel about him?
Well, hold up. We're not done with the like pregnancy lies.
All
They're
right.
trying to get pregnant, but every time, so what would happen is Gypsy would be with Ryan and they would be conspiring to have a baby, but then Gypsy would be kind of like trying to keep it a secret, but then because she doesn't.
I was surprised they didn't push back more because he's an entertaining troll. I've never seen his panel this one. They were very well. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I did say that he was very quiet.
And have a filter, she would end up being like, oh yeah, we had unprotected sex. And then they would be like, you need to get plan B right now, right? And then I don't know how many times she took plan B. I know for a fact there was a fight that Ryan got mad at her about.
I know for a fact. See how she keeps saying, I know for a fact? She doesn't know for a fact because she's been lied to. She's still going with the I know for a fact. Why doesn't she say they told me that there was a fight? You don't know for a fact unless you were there.
Out taking plan B, and he was mad because he said she killed his sperm.
What?
But I mean, I can see her doing that, like flipping on me, where she sits there and says 1 minute, oh, you know, with Ryan, she wants to get pregnant, and then when they call her out on it, then she has to do whatever. Yeah,
she's a people pleaser, even though she's a sociopath. It's weird.
Well, no, it's to keep everybody manipulated. I feel like.
Yeah, and so it's like, so if mom and dad are like, you can't have a baby, you need to take plan B. She's like, okay, and then she goes back home to Ryan, and Ryan's like, she's like, I took plan B, and Ryan's like, you killed my sperm.
Do you agree with Gypsy saying that Ryan is preventing her from speaking to the family when she told Mia about the plan B?
So that wasn't really what the fight was about. I don't know why what aired, but they were really fighting about Ryan killed his sperm. Like he killed Ryan's sperm. That's what the real fight was about. I don't know why.
It played out that he was mad because she had said all of that in front of the world on a camera.
Yeah, but they left out the part that he was viewed it as an abortion.
Well, I mean, he has every right to view it that way. She didn't consult her husband in what she was doing.
Right, but that they didn't put that on the TV, I'm assuming.
Obviously, it's more manipulation by the editing, I guess.
Right, no, but you have to consider Lifetime and their ratings and their sponsors. You can't start talking about abortion on a show like that. Like,
Yeah, Lifetime of all
Gross. Well, Melissa
networks.
said enough.
you know what I mean? Like the networks are so weird about that kind of stuff. They have to sanitize everything and take out anything controversial. And so
Because it seemed like it's pro life
Right.
choice one way or the other.
Exactly. They don't want to rock the boat either way. And so that's what the fight was about. Like he was like, you killed my baby. And she was just like, I was just doing it because it wasn't even on camera. It was Mia that said it, but there's also people in the family that are nurses that are telling her, take plan B. So it wasn't just Mia that was helping her do that day. Okay. There was multiple people involved. And then Ryan got mad because she killed his sperm. So that's really what the fight was about, but they didn't show that part.
So did we go
So I
over
wouldn't-
Gypsy's pregnancy lies being exposed, or is there more detail?
Well, that's
they
part
wanna
of
ask
it. The lie part about it with her video saying that she didn't know that she was going to get pregnant, that's the lie. Like, so here is, she has said she's got 4 different stories. She said she went to a gynecologist and then they said she wasn't going to ovulate. I think that's one of the stories. And so then they took her off the pill. Another one of the stories is that they told her she
Is it
couldn't
true she
ovulate.
ran out of birth control pills, or
That's what's in my video.
That's what was it in your
That was-
video?
That's what happened.
Yeah, it was.
So it is true. Okay, so I didn't
So
know.
what actually happened, and this is what I was told last week by Christy, was that, and when it comes to Christy, you have to understand, like, Christy knows what's going on with Gypsy with the prescriptions because she's on, like, she's the parole person or whatever, you know, like when, I don't know how they do the parole, like when they have to parole to someone, like that person's like, they know that. They're helping them transfer everything. So she's like working with the parole, whatever, and then all the medical stuff. And so she's like, I don't know, she's like a conservator sort of. She's just like, whatever, you know.
Yep.
So Christy knows what's going on because she's helping, like, working with the parole board or the probation, and they're transferring everything from Lake Charles to Cutoff. And
So
he wanted to, but realized what he was dealing with. No one wanted to argue. Just let her talk, see what she has to say. Well, they often say that the way that you get someone to dig a hole is to let them talk, just give them free rein, and then they start contradicting themselves. I mean, she did at some point in time. I think she did a couple of times. She really, well, from what I saw, it was a bit of a train wreck.
once the Plan B sperm fight happened, and Ryan was really mad, they got her on the pill because they're like, Gypsy, you are like a 12-year-old tornado bowling ball that has severe mental health issues that we need to get fixed. You're not ready to be a mom. But no one can control Gypsy. That's the problem. You can't. It's impossible. So, so Gypsy moves, and Gypsy runs out of the pill while she's there. She doesn't make a new appointment, or she doesn't transfer the scripts because Gypsy doesn't know how to do anything. Her mom
She can't even put her little shoesies on. Christy has to buckle them.
She's like an infant. It's weird. It's
Did she
literally
run
like
out of pills
very
when she was talking about Plan B with Mia in the car?
no, she wasn't on the pill yet.
Okay,
was
so
like-
she was
that
on the pill
happened- I
when
think
she
that
met
happened
Ken.
That happened at the end of January, I think. The Plan B.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty
the,
early. Yeah.
the timeline is so weird because they did a chunk of filming right in the beginning, and then they didn't film for a while in February, and then they would come for like a week, and then they would leave. And then some of the stuff that was done for that last episode was like put together very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you get Ryan like in a different timeline. It
Yeah,
was just so off. It was like months off, and yeah,
It was the last episode was sloppy.
it was very sloppy. It was like,
And they didn't really explain why Gypsy left and how Gypsy left. That was a whole other thing. But like, so anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so she ran out of the pill. This is literally what Christy told me last week. She said Gypsy ran out of the pill and she got to cut off. And when they got to cut off,
So now she's saying this is what Christy's told me, but which one is the truth?
she was like, well, we need to get you refilled. And Gypsy was being like, Gypsy.
it's like, how do you run out of the pill?
Well,
It's kind of stupid.
Gypsy,
I mean, come on,
you
man.
don't understand. Gypsy didn't like when she lived with her mom literally did everything. She did nothing. Gypsy does not know how to take care of herself.
Yeah, but you get your prescription right there.
I know,
Refill.
Stephanie, I'm telling
How
you,
do you
like,
run out of a birth? And they usually don't they give it to you 90 days at least?
yes, right. But I think he had just started a like new one, and so ladies that have been on the pill before, like they'll sometimes start you on one pack, and then if it's good, you go back to the doctor, and they say,
Yes, I will put it. I'll put the link in there. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'll put the link here. This is for the video. I'm going to skip ahead again because there is a bit of stuff. It does, but you can see that there is. Is she gone by that time?
So that's how she went to that Discovery Cove and
Yep.
swam with the dolphins.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
It's tossed out there, right? Every type of little experience.
But apparently she referred.
Video camera on you too, just to make sure, because I would be very. I don't know if I would want to take that kind of responsibility. To be honest,
I think she had to go or something, didn't she? Deal with her son. Oh no, her phone had. She had to plug her phone in. So I'm just moving it forward again. Please go and watch it for yourself. But I want to show you this. This is the ending. This is how they got. Oh, what don't want to
One
speak
who
negative.
what I'm realizing,
Does that?
what I'm
Participates in that.
realizing that's been very hurtful for me, and you guys, it's painful, is to know that like they preyed on my empathy and my heart to help.
And how
And
sick
it's-
and stupid is that? I mean, that's
And they
gross and sick.
it is, and they exploited that.
So you got to rise above that. Why accept it?
When I say that, like, I used to say that no one but the family has her intentions in mind. Like, nobody cares about Gypsy. Nobody.
But who is Christy to put this sort of mind game over you?
I honestly feel like Christy is at a point where it's like, okay, I'll tell you something. You want some tea?
of
Sure.
course.
Y'all are
As
like,
hot as it gets.
You know how everyone says that Gypsy's made $3 million?
How much?
He hasn't even made $1 million.
I heard that. I've heard that too.
But she's made enough to live in the shitty area that she lives in.
She's one of those like cash poor people. Like,
But to the point that Ken doesn't have to work, right? Because he's unemployed
well, I mean, he just moved. He'll get a job. Like, I don't doubt that Ken's gonna get a job, but like,
I don't know if she'll let
on a
him.
street corner somewhere. Yeah.
I don't see her letting him out of
she
her
might try
side.
to murder him if he goes to get a job. Like,
That's what I think. She
he's
just,
like, he's psycho. He's fucking psycho. She said to me, I left Ryan's and I left without hurting him. And I was like,
oh my god.
That's the worst way to leave a person unless you're being abused.
Oh
in some
God.
way. That's why I am mad at Christy, and that she should have had been
The
an
mental
adult.
abuse that Ryan.
Get help.
But here's the thing: Gypsy was gonna leave Ryan without Ken. Like it's on the show. It made
Oh yeah, no, I believe that. I
like
believe that.
on the show they made it seem like that was the tipping point because that's the way it's edited. But I will tell you with certainty that it wasn't that. That is why things changed. That's just the way it was edited on the show.
Katie,
Like,
why would you respect anybody in Christy?
I don't.
In Christy, because you talk nice about her. Okay, I understand you
But
have
I
a
don't. But I-
relationship
you
with her
act
for
like
some
me,
time,
like, even with like Cody Brown, and I hate his ass. Like I'll sometimes have empathy for him because that's just me.
but to the point that you fear whatever you say on the internet because the way that these people act and the way that these people operate on the internet.
I'm telling
I haven't, but I know that she was in the chat and they were asking her to go on as well, but she didn't. It would have been interesting to see how Becca Scoops would have gone with Katie.
you that the people around Christy, it's almost like and Gypsy is a cult, and you handle and what I'm saying is it's maybe it's not like an actual religion or anything.
Okay, I will
They
tell you
act in that way.
there are two friends that they have around them that Gypsy walks on water and they think she can do no wrong, and I will scream and yell at them. I've literally gotten into screaming matches with a couple.
So Bree is one of them. Who's the other one?
I don't want to say her name.
Natasha Cooper.
No,
Southern
Natasha-
Mother has become a member.
No, Clancy Bunny.
no, but like
Yeah.
these are people that tell Gypsy you can't get a job at Dollar General because you're too famous,
Oh God, sorry, that's just gross.
and they'll say she'll get hurt in the real world, and I'm like she fucking's a murderer. Like
They act like she can't get her hands dirty. Well, and the,
Again,
Does
you
it
saying
take
this
her
stuff, Kate. You and then you're very soft on Christy for some reason. That's
Christy's not a murderer.
bewilderment. But she knows what Gypsy has done.
I know, but Gypsy is the driver behind all of this.
But
like Christy
Is it true that Christy has partaked or she has been associated with the bullying and all this other stuff, this terrible
Yeah,
acts on
but
the internet?
what I will say this about Christy is that Gypsy's a terrible influence on Christy. Like,
you think she might have picked up being vindictive, or if she's not already?
okay, so I'll tell you about a recent fight that happened. In
And by the way, Christy's what, 60, 70? And she's listening to some.
she's in her 50s. She's like
Okay.
53.
Oh, she should know better than somebody coming out of jail. But go ahead, tell us that story you're going to tell us.
Okay. Christy's kids are not happy with her
In
because
what sense? What do you mean?
because Gypsy is running amok, and Gypsy is creating chaos in their lives.
The only person that I could think of is Mia.
And Dylan.
I feel like Katie is still working with Christy. Christy used Katie to get rid of Rod. Possibly, yeah. Could be.
But you don't see Dylan because he's not on the show. There's people in this family that aren't on the show that you don't know about. There's plenty of people in this family that are not happy. Even Christy isn't happy with Gypsy. Like I told you, she agreed with me that Gypsy's a sociopath.
I would be locking my doors at night.
Like
Bedroom door.
I said to Christy, Gypsy's gonna have CPS with her, and she's like, I am fully prepared that CPS will be involved with this baby. Like Christy is not naive. Christy's just not gonna go out publicly and say it. Because I think Christy's scared of Gypsy too. Everyone is scared of Gypsy.
Has Christy said this to you on a phone call or email? Or
Christy gets rid of Jib and Katie gets clicks win minute. Yeah, possibly.
That she's scared of Gypsy. That she's scared of Gypsy?
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's like how they act. The reason why like Rod doesn't want to put his foot down is because if you try to hold Gypsy accountable, she will cut you out and then she'll start a smear campaign against you.
Okay.
Like have you noticed with every guy, she's always the victim?
Every time.
She's always the victim, yeah, regardless.
And regardless. So there's fear there. And as much as they love her, I think they're smart enough to understand what Gypsy did. They love Gypsy, but they also recognize that Gypsy's very damaged.
Why was it that initially you wanted to help? Was it because you grew this relationship with Christy initially and you felt bad
I watched
for her?
Mommy's Dead and Dearest and believed that she was, the victim of everyone.
Okay, which we all have.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I have a child with a disability. And have you not learned that I'm an empath yet? And I hate that I didn't even say that because empaths don't say that, right?
I'm an empath too, but I don't know.
You just have to honestly.
I'm empathetic towards real.
Huh?
You have to learn to really protect it yourself because when they say you will be targeted by people like that, it will over and over and kind of until you get that lesson. I guess you want to call it karmic lesson, whatever it might be. You have to learn.
So she's an empath, apparently, an empath.
When you have a weird, and I know, but like if you get that first thing with something that she's saying that doesn't add up, you got to trust yourself instead of what a person's saying sometimes. And
I never trusted
people
what
think you're crazy. Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I made a post last week and I said that Gypsy is erratic and impulsive and acts like a 12-year-old and nobody listens to no one, that's literally what Christy told me last week.
She told you this over the phone.
Yes, and my own experience with Gypsy is she's erratic, impulsive, and listens to no one. Gypsy is, I can't even explain her. She's like diabolical.
Did you always feel this way, or you just found out recently about Gypsy?
No, it's like when I told you about that conversation in May when she said to me like I was an adult and like it was the day I made that post, and then she called me, and then we had a conversation, and she told me about that. But then at that point, when she said that to me, I was fucking scared, and I was like, I know if I'm gonna be out public about this, like I'm gonna get targeted by her. Like I knew she was a liar at that point.
Okay.
You don't like it's. She has 10 million followers, and she's so crazy right now.
Now, you mentioned you don't want to be bullied by telling the truth. And
Yep.
who are you being bullied by specifically?
They will.
They being Christy?
Christy and Gypsy.
Okay. So they bullied you for telling
They
the
didn't.
truth.
No, they didn't bully me. They bully people that tell like that make videos and like.
But you're tired of being gaslit and manipulated by
Yes, exactly.
by Christy?
I don't know. Here's the problem with Christy and Gypsy is I don't know if I'm getting gaslit through what Gypsy. How do I explain this? Gypsy is so toxic and so manipulative that she will like lie to everyone, and then everyone repeats her lies. And so it's like I don't know if the lies are from Christy or from Gypsy.
Okay. But you do state that you gave her the benefit of the doubt. I gave Christy the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
But I often felt like there were so few people around Gypsy that actually wanted to help her.
Yes.
So she's an empath. Remember that?
Because I think where Christy started wanting to help her, I don't think she's there anymore.
And you feel like Gypsy is addicted to attention like Dee Dee, her mother?
And I think Christy is now too.
Okay.
But I wouldn't classify like Christy as like Dee Dee. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, because I think Christy's exploiting Gypsy.
You know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been lying for months about why she is worried about her fertility.
Yes.
Let's see here. What else do you go on to say?
There's so much she's lied about publicly. Like, there's probably stuff I haven't even talked about. Like, she knew that she vindictively sent photos of her. Like, she only hooked up with Ken to get back at Ryan.
You kind of call out Gypsy for not really fessing up to the chromosome deletion. She really talks about it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Some of the procedures that she went through as a child were actually needed, is what you say.
Well, didn't she say she didn't have deletion at one point in time, and now she's had to change her tune? They have hundreds of thousands of dollars in Christine Rod's name. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that she's going into bat for them still.
They were
due to the chromosome deletion that was proved by Fancy or
no, it wasn't proven by Fancy. I don't know why Fancy thinks that she proved that. The family's known that she's had the chromosome deletion the whole time.
Not that she proved it, but kind of looked into it and said, hey, these were necessary surgeries or whatnot.
The eye surgery was necessary, and Gypsy told me that every time she had to get her G-tube changed was a surgery, and that's not a surgery.
Early on, you mentioned the feeding tube, but you actually say in a post on Instagram, it is possible that Gypsy needed a feeding tube at one point.
She didn't need it as an adult. She may have needed it as a child, but I don't know.
Okay. But you're kind of saying
once she was an adult
at one point.
At one point, yeah. I mean, she was hospitalized for a while for it. I don't know any of the details about it.
You reiterate that Gypsy had procedures that weren't needed, and you don't go into detail on that. But from your assessment, can you?
What I mean by that is, like,
some of those...
after a while as an adult, she didn't need her feeding tube, and her mom was definitely giving her medications. I mean, you saw the medication closet that her mom had.
I did, but they weren't. Well, I'm not going to say much, but they weren't medications that were given to her directly.
She never had leukemia, but she was given some.
Okay, I suppose if you've been on the other end of 10 million, but she'd rather suck up than tell the truth if you're back there. Ginger says that stream was something else. It was a reunion. Listen, it did. It was it was amazing to see everybody in there. I have to say, I did get a bit excited. I did do some fangirling because Miss Balls and Llama Girl were in the same stream. I just thought, oh, wow. Can it get any better? And Haiti Joyless was in there, and it's like, can it get any better?
Some weird medication for it. People saw her give it.
And where did you get the information as far as Dee Dee saying that she had leukemia? Is there something?
She was at a cancer. Are you serious? You don't think Dee Dee said that? She was at a cancer event saying on camera that she had cancer.
She was at an event. Do you have the video?
The video exists. It's in the documentaries.
Okay.
She's literally saying she has cancer. Like,
she's saying her child has cancer.
Yes. There's an old page called Gypsy something vacation or something, and there's a sheet that Dee Dee typed out that had leukemia on it.
She had leukemia.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I missed that. I clearly haven't seen that. I don't know.
It exists. It's in the documentary.
What documentary is this? Is it?
It's.
Yes, Balls was in there too. Oh, everybody was in there. EKC was in there. Who else did I see in there? Oh, Charlotte made an appearance. Yeah, she's getting angry because they're saying, do you have the proof?
not even Mommy Dead and Dearest. It's like 2020 or something.
Mhm.
I don't even know. But there's an old page, Gypsy's something journey. Her mom had, they were raising money, and she wrote out a list of everything that Gypsy had. And Dee Dee claimed she had leukemia. She claimed she had muscular dystrophy. She claimed she was paraplegic. Those are not lies that Gypsy made up. Those are real.
And then you reiterate that Gypsy possibly needed a feeding tube at one point.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
Like I said, like she got it for failure to thrive and like some sort of some GERD. I don't even know.
Yeah.
She was
So-
7.
Oh, she almost left a few times until she did. I mean, everyone. I mean, there's going to be so many reaction videos to this. Oh, Southern Mutton was there. I can't wait to hear the new song.
When she got her feeding tube.
So again, we could go over this stuff, but I guess the question is, where are you at now with this whole situation, as far as where you stand with Christy, the Blanchards, Gypsy in general, and how are you going to move forward now? I mean, because you're dropping some videos that are exposing them. What do you think is your next steps here, or how do you feel?
I have a whole another video. I'll be doing a video tomorrow about the money. So I'll tell you how they're bypassing stuff with money and Son of Sam and how much money she's made. And
she does reference Son of Sam.
Yeah.
And so you're going to discuss that in your next video, which again, make sure you guys go check out her channel.
The Son of Sam thing is like, they are so arrogant. They don't think that anyone from the family will ever sue them. And I told them, if you make money, that's what you're making, they're going to come after you. Because anytime money gets involved, you think people that are victims, do you think Dee Dee's sisters, if they start seeing Gypsy making millions, they're not going to come after her?
Money always does crazy things, for sure.
Well, and just because a few of Dee Dee's relatives were, like, I want to be clear about something. Like, a few of Dee Dee's relatives did some documentaries and said that they hated her, but Dee Dee's siblings don't speak to Gypsy at all.
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, the only
one is
known
Bob,
relative is the tattoo artist, the uncle or whatever he is.
the nephew.
Cousin,
yeah,
I guess, the cousin of Gypsy.
the cousin.
Yeah.
Her cousin. So her aunts hate her.
Yeah, it just seems like their side, Dee Dee's side, doesn't talk much.
They hate
to
her. I mean, at this point, it's hard for me to know. Like, she's writing this book, and I can't even trust that anything in the book will
Yeah, I think she's going to get some subs. I think she is hoping.
be real, because like they started talking about how Grandpa sexually assaulted her, and I was like, your asses are gonna get sued.
So like, where are you at now with the family? I know you've had relations with Christy.
I'm done.
Is
I'm
this
done.
for sure, or
Yes,
could it
yes.
be
No, I am
rekindled at one point again?
never.
It seems like you didn't really have much of a relationship with Gypsy, or you didn't really like
No,
kind of support her.
We talked, but like, you have to understand, like, Christy didn't want me to be like a yes person with Gypsy, and I was never a yes person with Gypsy. And like, I had a relationship with Gypsy. Like, we talked, we texted, like, yeah, we talked on the phone. But I was never the person that was like kissing Gypsy's ass. Because
Did they shun you in any way before you wanted to go public?
No,
to
no,
expose
they were shocked in May that I did that.
Did they contact you immediately after you
Yep.
put out? And who contacted you? I would assume Christy.
Gypsy, actually. No, Gypsy did.
Better with the Irish donated
So Gypsy
$1.99
contacted
through
you
Super Chat.
first.
Do not give this liar any views.
Can you talk about like what she said?
We talked on the phone for like 4 hours.
She called you after just what, a day ago or 2 days ago?
No, back in May.
Okay, so that was the last time she called you. The first time you called her up.
That's not the last time I talked to her. Last time I talked to her was last week.
Okay, so when you came out initially in May,
Mhm.
kind of having opposing opinion, let's just say,
she called me, yeah, and I hadn't said anything to them publicly. I was like
you
at
didn't
that
say,
point-
hey, I'm going to go out with this. I'm going to say this.
Nope.
Okay.
I was like, in May when I did that, I felt like if I do this, I needed to go out with a bang.
I was going to say the super chats in the chat is classic. I've actually skipped through it a lot with Peter. I've skipped through bits, so we haven't heard the whole drama with her son. We haven't heard the whole. We haven't heard her say the magic word for. I mean, there's only so much we can put ourselves through, and I'd rather people give Morbid the view than have to sit through all of this. So we've just skipped forward a bit, but we must be getting near the end.
And I was afraid to confront them.
So when you
Because-
did that, the first person that contacted you called you on the phone, Gypsy calls you. You're on the
Yep.
the horn for 4 hours or so.
Yep.
And then what happened? Were you like, hey, maybe I'll rethink this and we'll see what happens? I don't know.
I argued with her for quite a while, actually. That
Arguing
conversation,
back and forth in regards to your opinion
behavior.
about her.
her behavior. Her
Okay.
behavior. I
Go ahead.
was angry with the way she was acting, and I was like supposed to be like mentoring her in a way. Like that's what Christy wanted. And so she wanted me to be like firm with her, and that's how I was. And I was not happy with her and her behavior, and I called her cruel for what she was doing to Ryan and how she was acting.
She'll start. She probably not. Oh no, 6 mentions of us. Yeah, no, I've managed to skip a lot. I've managed to skip them all. Peter, I've managed to skip the 6 mentions. I don't know how. But I have. I'll do that as a win, hey?
And specifically, what type of behaviors were you not comfortable with?
I'm a married woman, and I don't care if you're separated, but I was not okay with her immediately. She slept with Ken to get back at Ryan, and I'm not okay with that.
So you called her out, and you guys are talking for quite some time, hours and hours. And what was the conclusion towards the end?
And then she sent photos to Ryan to rub it in his face.
You're talking about the Ken photos of
Yep.
them being okay. Yeah, we've seen that.
And she lied to me about it, and I talked to her about.
And you found out because you watched the series? That's what
No, this all happened before the series was even on. The show didn't even debut until June.
How did you find out that Gypsy was texting these photographs?
Because I talked to them.
And she told you, she's like, hey,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And you're like, why would you do that? Okay.
Correct. Why would you do that? Like, you're acting ridiculous. And there are people around them that Gypsy can walk on water, and she can never do anything wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to enable this. You're creating a monster.
So after this 4-hour conversation, how did you guys conclude that?
I don't know, like.
Because it seems like you guys were back on the same page somewhat.
Somewhat, but I mean, here's the thing. Just because publicly I was being supportive doesn't mean privately I wasn't calling her out.
But how did the conversation end between you all, and how did you guys work it out and whatnot?
It was like fine. It was more like she understood where I was coming from, and I basically told her like I'm not going to be sitting back here and just like co-signing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was very firm with her. I'm not the kind like I'm like if I'm going to be your mom, which is kind of like how the women in her life are. It's like I'm not going to co-sign you acting like this.
But it's unbelievable. It's interesting. So I saw bits and pieces of it. Be interesting to see what she does. I think she'll ask Morbid to delete it personally.
And if you're asking me to co-sign it on my platform, no.
But she called you for a reason. She probably asked you, hey, can you not knock it off and not talk bad about me?
No, she didn't say that.
So what was the purpose of her calling you? Just to say she's disappointed that you spoke
She
out
was
against
like,
her?
No, it was like, what happened?
Okay, and what was your response to what happened, I guess?
I told her what happened, the way she was acting.
And how did she accept that?
She understood. But she's manipulative, so she says what you want to hear. And I knew that. I knew she was being manipulative.
So after 4 hours of talking, how did it come to an end? How did you guys sort of...
It was, like I said, it was
figure it
fine.
out?
Like, we didn't figure it out. I understood where things were, and I knew that, like, I was going to still be me. She was still going to be...
This is a good example of how no one understands anything, and she doesn't get that. She's not skilled at talking, explaining anything. I can't wait to do it. She has so much material for 8 days worth of videos. Oh, I hope so. It's going to be a good one, particularly when apparently Katie bolts. Hey, she could be the starter for the. She bolted so fast she could win the Melbourne Cup.
Her, and I wasn't going to be like anything but that. Like, our relationship was never me kissing her ass. Like, all the things that you guys complain about publicly, I was saying to her privately. But just because I wasn't saying it publicly, like, my issue was like, Gypsy, I'm not going to take the heat for your shitty behavior. Your haters aren't going to hate me because they think that I'm co-signing your shitty behavior. And
now, fast forwarding 2 months now into July, and now you come out just within the past 24, 48
because
hours.
I'm done. I'm not privately, I'm saying this. I'm not going to do it public.
I'm just asking what changed from...
I told you what changed. Like,
from May to July to...
I told you, episode 8, this whole thing. Like, I've told you.
So you didn't know the things that happened in episode 8 like you knew prior?
I did know, but I didn't know what the private conversation. I didn't know what the conversation.
What really ticked you off about episode 8?
I thought I already told you this.
Just to be accurate.
Oh.
What was it that irked you?
I already answered this.
I think it was maybe Ryan, or no, I don't remember.
It was. I already told you this, but it was because Gypsy told me that she wanted to get Ryan on Adultery, right? And then she told him I wasn't trying to get you on Adultery.
See, we didn't hear this. You didn't tell us that.
I told you that.
No, you didn't talk about the adultery part.
Oh,
Um,
I thought I said that, and then it was Christy blaming Rod for not telling her to marry Ryan, and that pissed me off because it's not Rod's fucking responsibility to tell his daughter not to marry someone, and to put that on Ryan, to put that on Rod, and put that guilt on Rod is cruel, because Rod already carries so much fucking guilt for like basically abandoning and neglecting his daughter.
Okay.
And that pissed me off. Like, what the like? This man is already. He feels like responsible. Like he literally feels like it's his fault that Dee Dee's dead. And then they're putting that on him. Like, well, now it's your fault that Ryan and her got married. That's not fucking fair.
So after this episode, now you have a different perspective of things. And then do you
It's
reach
not
out to
that
them?
having
Do you have a conversation with Christy or Gypsy at that point, or no? I didn't know if you heard that.
Yeah, some people are saying that he was trolling her at this point because he was trolling her at this point. But I don't know.
Question or not? Oops, we can't hear her. Not sure if we can hear her.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to like look at a text message that I have.
Oh, okay. I was just
wonder if
wondering after the episode watching it, and then you're like, holy shit. Okay, so now I know some new information.
No, I was trying to look at, I guess on my phone, I can't clear this out and look at my text messages at the same time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said I'm at a loss after this last episode of the amount of lies I've been told about the times.
And then after hearing or watching the episode, did you get in contact again with the Blanchards, Christy, or
Well,
Gypsy?
I keep trying to read I'm trying to read you the text message, but I can't because I can't
What
look
text
at
message are you reading?
I'm trying to read a text message that I sent to Christy, but I can't read it because
Oh, okay.
I'm on my StreamYard, but then I can't open my texts and read it because when I open that, then it closes out
No
StreamYard.
worries. You don't have to read the text message. I mean, so you reached out to her via text saying, hey, you know,
I
I know
basically
this
just said
happened.
to her, I'm fucking done with you and the lies. That's what I said.
Oh, so okay. So you messaged her very angry and like, hey,
Not angry.
like,
I
hey,
didn't say
I'm
fucking.
done with the
I
lies,
didn't say
and
fucking.
etc.
Well, I'm trying to read. Hold on, let me look. I told her that I was sick and tired of the lies. I was shocked to my core after watching her lie, and the way that the way that I knew that Christy knew that Gypsy lied to me and to Ryan, and Christy knew, and then Christy was covering for Gypsy and lying to me. I told her I'm sick and tired of lying, and you knew you were lying. You knew Gypsy was lying, and I'm not covering for your lies anymore. That's what I said.
Okay. And then was there a response back?
Nope, because I sent it and blocked her.
Oh, okay. So you blocked her.
Because at that point, there's nothing she can say to me. I don't care to hear anything she says to me. I don't care anything to hear. And Gypsy had already blocked me because I already tried to hold her accountable because she was about to be revoked, which I never explained fully. But Christy was so worried last week that Gypsy was going to be revoked that I reached out to Gypsy and I said, Christy is worried to death that you're going to be revoked. Are you okay? And she called me nosy and blocked me.
And you're a good ally to them for some time.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, I was already at a point with Gypsy where I'd already gotten to like a couple arguments with her. I got into an argument with her because I feel like she lied to me about what happened with Ryan. And she cut stuff out from the show. And I said, well, I thought you said that he was doing all this shit to you and it's not in the series. Well, I'm doing it to protect him. And I said, well, I don't know, but if someone did that shit.
KJ, so did Joseph Gypsy's making more money and has more followers. Like I said, both need to be cancelled. That was Badisha's post. There was enough empathy oozing from her. It was like a 70s Coca-Cola commercial. We need to teach the world to sing. Hello, Badisha. I'm sorry, everyone's coming in. Oh, yes, Badisha. Yes, I saw your post. Sorry.
To me, I wouldn't be protecting an abuser.
So Gypsy blocks you at some point, and then you tell Christy exactly how you feel after episode 8, the final episode, and then you block her.
Like, here's the thing about Gypsy. Gypsy blocks people all the time. So, like, she could block you one day and you'd be fine the next day. You know what I mean? So, like, I've been blocked by her before because that's what Gypsy does. I think Brian even explained, like, on the series, like, what she does. Like, she would hang up on him and not talk to him for, like, 4 days while she was in prison.
So,
it's funny about blocking.
Oh, after all of that, you block Christy. Gypsy blocked you prior. You see the episode 8. You have a different perspective now. And then all of a sudden, within the past 24 hours, you come out with 2 videos and other posts on Instagram exposing the hell out of Gypsy, and more to come, by the way.
Yeah, I have 5 years.
And so
But I promise
how do you
I'm
get
not.
in that head space, especially when you still have this sort of, hey, Christy's kind of a good person, empathetic. I feel sorry for her because she feels guilty. Or
You're never going to take, like, here's the thing. You're never going to take that part away from me because that's just who I am.
what part
like-
are you talking with the empathetic part you're talking about? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like that part's just never going to go away.
You're going to
and
feel
even-
sorry for Christy for whatever she told you.
Somehow.
You know
I mean,
she's a
I-
manipulative liar.
I'm sure she
Lacey
is,
H
but
donated
you know, I'm gonna have to,
$4.99
like,
through Super Chat.
you gotta,
KJ,
like,
did you know Ken is a
trust me,
bottom
like,
and
this
does
is
Gypsy
5
strap
years
one
of my
on and
life,
go to
so
town
it's,
on
like,
him?
unpacking.
Say that again.
Can I
Sorry,
ask
there
a
was
question?
yes.
Yeah.
Genuine question. What's your perspective on adaptive Kate?
I don't have a perspective. I only talked to her once, and then she accused me of bullying her, and I didn't know who she was before then or after then, and I'd never bullied her.
Well, she's
Oh,
accused
I
many
didn't know.
people.
I was just curious.
I don't
use TikTok, so I mean, I really don't even know who you are. I'm not a creator or anything. I'm just
Oh,
a
yeah, I
pain
don't
and Morbid's ass.
I don't
So
really like. I talked to her one time, and she was trying to convince me that like Gypsy was copying her and stuff. And I was trying to explain to her that like Gypsy actually posted something because I told her to post something that had nothing to do with her. But then Kate thought that had to do with her, and I couldn't convince Kate like what she believed. So then she thought I was like bullying her or like trying to like send information back to the Blanchards, which I wasn't. I didn't even
It
tell
doesn't even
them.
matter because Kate Marie's credibility went out the window very quickly after she did what she did. So, bully or not
made up
bully.
Laura and donated
She said I bullied her, and I never
$9.99 through
did.
Super
I don't know
Chat.
what happened. That
Can
made
you
me
ask her
start
about
bullying both of
adaptive
them,
Kate?
though. I didn't pay attention.
I mean, were you a part of Gypsy bullying Kate? I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter because they're best of friends.
No,
So,
no,
Okay.
no. I never, like I said, I was never on TikTok with Gypsy, literally ever. Like I told you, I don't do TikTok very much. So it's like I would find out after shit hit the fan.
so as of now, you have 2 videos out exposing Gypsy, and you said there's another one coming out possibly tomorrow about the money.
So we've got another one to come in. Her whole aims. I mean, that is the best part, I think.
Scheme or whatever.
Nope.
Is this something that you think you want to continue as far as exposing her even more because you have a lot to talk about?
I just like as I process things, and I'm the kind of person that like once I see the light about something, and like I've held a lot back out of respect, right? Like,
But if you knew it was wrong, why did you hold that back? Out of respect to the person that you were talking to, Christy or whatnot. I mean, why would you hold back?
I was telling like publicly. Why do I need to say anything if privately I'm telling it to them to their faces, right? Like, if they knew how I felt privately, I didn't feel like I had to say it publicly.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but if you know someone and you have a relationship with someone and they know how you feel, I didn't know that I had to say something publicly. But
But you do so
when-
now, though.
I do, because now I feel like a sense of responsibility because of what they did to me and lies they told me and reporting that I did that put out lies for them. Like, I have a responsibility to be ethical and be like, well, that wasn't.
Thing is, Shorter, I've skipped quite a bit, and there's a whole pile of stuff in there. She does a whole spiel on her son. She does a whole spiel on empathy. She does a whole spiel on how she feels sorry for she feels sorry for Christy because, you know, Katie has a son that's, you know, got disabilities and all of that sort of stuff. It's yeah.
Truthful because they lied to me, and now here are some other lies that I know are lies.
Okay.
I frankly, it wasn't like this until she got out.
So prior to her release from prison, things were better, but you were dealing with Christy anyhow, so you weren't really.
Yeah, but Christy wasn't like this before. Like, it wasn't like this. It was very different. Like,
What would be your assessment as far as what changed Christy after her
Money.
coming out?
money.
Well, that's what everybody else thinks too.
agreed.
I mean,
It's
that's
clear.
what changed. It's money.
Mm.
Gypsy gave her mom, and oh God, you don't even know about the fucking trust fund they have that doesn't have Gypsy's name on it.
Whose trust fund? Christy's?
Oh God,
Oh God, what?
that's a can of worms that I can't say right now.
You're the one that
No,
said
you
it.
already opened it. Come on, just at least allude. You can allude to it.
There is a massive trust fund with hundreds of thousands of dollars that is not in Gypsy's name, and it's not in her name because it can't be in her name.
This trust fund coming from?
Projects,
What do you mean projects?
shows, documentaries,
Lifetime series.
media. No,
Lifetime.
not
Oh,
like
media.
media stuff.
That was paid to
Ah.
Gypsy. I mean, who else would it be paid to? But they turned into a trust fund, and now it's how much? It's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
In a trust fund for Gypsy, I would assume, or the estate or
Well,
whatever.
hopefully, but it's not in her name.
Purpose being to avoid having to split that in the divorce and whatever.
Well, no, that money was made before Ryan was ever around.
Is it because she can't make money off her mom's death?
Bingo. They are
And-
hiding. They are hiding money in ways that is
How do you
so
know this?
disgusting.
What, did Christy
They
reveal this?
yes.
She just openly talks about this stuff, huh?
Yep.
Is it under Christy's name or the Blanchards' Rod?
Christine Rod.
Wow.
Mm.
Is that why
200
they allow her to stay at their place? They allow Gypsy to stay there.
Well, no,
There's ways around it. You can say it with ways around it. You can allude without saying.
I don't. No, I mean, someone has to have Gypsy. I mean, I don't know that like that's why she's there.
What's
Like,
the
I don't.
amount specifically, or do you even know?
I don't know exactly. I know it's over 200.
200,000.
It's over 200. I don't know
Okay.
how much, but I know that they won't let Gypsy touch it.
Interesting. So when they say Gypsy's worth 3 million net worth from TikTok,
No, God,
and
no.
you said it was wrong, what would be her net worth if you could?
I would say on everything she's made less than 600,000.
600,000. That's not bad within 6 months, 7 months.
But it's not. No, that's not within 6 months. That's Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. That's all the documentaries that came out back in 2017.
All right. So you're talking about the Lifetime series.
Oh yes, it will. There'll be something else wrong with it. And I reckon there'll be a cease and desist coming soon.
Series, the first season, the prisoner's
The
confession,
book.
etc.
The longer she talked, the more she drank. She backpedaled. She never spilled the tea, just regurgitated what others said.
Books. And she'll only make 25,000 on the book.
Yeah, the books. No one's buying the book, and the audiobook. Forget about it. No one's buying that shit.
No, but I'm saying like people are like, oh, she's making all this money. I think she made 300,000 on the Lifetime series.
Maybe they weren't keeping track of the TikTok money. Because TikTok, it seems like
She's not making as much as you would think. Like she does the live.
she's one of the 200th, somewhere around there. She has the most followers. She has more than Lifetime network.
I understand that,
Like
but
10
like
times.
you understand, like I don't know anything about TikTok, but like it's not. You don't make a lot of money on views on TikTok because they don't have a good ad program. So she doesn't get brand deals. She's not promoting brands. The only way she can make money on TikTok is literally by doing lives.
Which she has been doing.
Right.
But also with one video that she made $6,000. We know one of the first videos that Ryan talks about in one of the seasons.
No, that was from a whole month. That was 6,000 from a whole month. He's not
It seemed
talking
like
about
it was-
anybody,
No.
Go ahead.
has anybody made you sign an NDA?
What'd you say?
Has anyone forced you to sign an NDA?
No.
Okay, so you're not under NDA. Good.
No. The 6,000 wasn't one video. That was a whole month. And
Okay,
it cashed out like because the way that social media works, they do cash outs like once a month.
Yes.
And so he wanted to. They were going to close the account like I think like
Laura
one
and
day
donated
before, and they did,
$4.99 through
and she
Super
didn't get
Chat.
that money.
If Rod and Christy were to kick the possum out of their house, would she have to go back to jail?
There was a period when she got. I don't know if anyone remembers, but she did get rid of that account for like 1 month, and then it came back.
Well,
then
she hid the account. She didn't
Yeah,
get rid of it. Yeah.
but she didn't get the money.
It seems like
It was going very fast. Everyone was saying, "No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true." Whenever she would say stuff, and when she started talking about her son, you'd hear, "I don't talk about my son." Yeah, I don't know why the live chat's not showing, but that's why it's best to look at it yourself, and you can see the chat because sometimes the chat is the best part, particularly in this video.
I think it did go into Ryan's checking account. He admitted it on a live and also, well, not in the series, but on a
Well,
live.
as far as Ryan goes, I know that like a big problem with him and a big issue with the money with those two, he was really. I know that there was like bank accounts and stuff, but I guess he was doing a lot of online gambling.
Speculation.
But I had a copy of I literally saw a copy of their bank statement, and they didn't have very much money in it.
So regardless, so this relationship is null and void. You're done. It's not going to be another turn to maybe.
No, fuck no, I don't.
Bridges are burned.
It's not bridges are burned. It's like I wish I could tell you guys that there was some big fight, but there wasn't. It was like I can't associate with this anymore.
And the main reason being the way that Ryan
Did speak for about. Notice she took down her Jip at 15 profile after so many calls. Yes. At least 30. She did speak about her son for about 30 minutes, didn't she?
Ryan was treated is what you stated, or also multiple things that came.
All of it. I told you the money, the profiting, the not advocating, not giving a shit about people that they defrauded, like thinking she's famous, acting like she's famous, not ever holding her accountable. Everyone walking on eggshells with her, acting like she's like fucking can't work at a Dollar General when she's a murderer.
Or McDonald's.
Right,
That's just-
exactly. Like
That's
you're
funny.
everyone is acting like she's like the queen when she's a fucking murderer.
Well, if I told you she has been making about 15,000 in ad revenue on TikTok on average per video that she's been doing.
Yep. Yeah, that's not true.
From the TikTok calculations, it is. And I could do YouTube calculations too, but that's, and then she's making a few $1,000s per live stream. What say you?
No, she makes $700 on a live stream normally.
$700. That's it. 700.
Yeah.
Ryan Anderson makes like 400 plus 500 sometimes on live streams. Ryan Anderson.
I know. I'm telling you, she makes $700 or $800 on live.
I think you're wrong about that.
No,
That's-
ma'am. The
Okay.
math's not mapping.
Okay,
No,
well,
ma'am.
I've seen a
really-
lot of money come through for Gypsy.
okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But regardless,
not
she's making
TikTok
good
either,
money.
but I
Who cares?
get
The
that.
point, it doesn't matter to me. Like, who cares? The point is she's
Okay,
profiting off her
it's okay.
crime.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to.
absolutely.
Who cares? Who cares?
Absolutely. That is correct. And that's a great point. And that's a point that I've been making for quite some time. No one.
I don't care how much she's making. The point is she's profiting off her crime. Like, that's my point. I don't give. And if people keep thinking she's living the high life, she's not. She's like broke. She might be having money, but she spends it as fast as she makes it. She has literally no concept of like savings.
I could see that.
Like, people think she's got money, but she doesn't. Like, these people are stupid with money.
I can see that too. Maybe Rod and Chrissy are a little bit smarter, but what can they
Well,
teach?
the reason why Christy and
Gypsy.
Rod won't let her touch that trust fund is because they know she'll spend it. She had a separate trust fund that she's already, like, it's at zero.
Hmm.
She's blown through so much money. She buys clothes and makeup and whatever. She just doesn't care.
And you know this. You know this because you've been personal with Chrissy.
And with Gypsy, like, I don't know why this would.
I mean, it's bold sayings. I mean, no
course I know
allegedly. This is what it is.
No, this is not alleged. This is like literally what they're doing.
Legit. This is okay.
Yes.
And the video that you're making will go into more detail, I'm assuming, about this.
Yes, they're like.
Is this coming out tomorrow, or when is this
Yeah.
video that you're working on?
Yeah, I don't really care about the money she's making on TikTok or whatever, because that's half the reason why we were fighting last week. Because I told them that I think she needs to get her ass off TikTok.
Oh, that explains why you got so angry. I understand.
Huh?
When you got angry earlier when that got mentioned, I understand now.
Yeah, we were fighting about that. Like, it doesn't.
I get
I'm
it.
sorry.
I understand.
Well,
I'm sorry if I like misdirected that at you. It's like
Nope.
I think
You can't get
I
me.
am so angry at them about TikTok because she shouldn't be on TikTok. Like,
she shouldn't be on any social media platform.
No,
Monetize.
no.
Look, I don't care if she's
Correct.
on social media, but she shouldn't be able to monetize off of her infamy and off of
I
her.
have a literal like PR schedule of every post they want her to post. They're gonna exploit everything. I have all of it. I have the
Where did you
literal
get that from?
document
Her team?
from Christy. I have the whole document of them, like what her PR plan is.
And
You
she
know how
hired a
much-
PR company, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but do you know how much money she is spending a month right now? She's spending $13,000 on PR and management
Alone?
alone.
So she is making some good money on TikTok to be able to spend that
If you're telling me she's only making 15,000, like Christy
per
was
video,
pissed-
not month.
but she's not making that per video, because trust me, when Christy found out she's paying 13,000, she was pissed because her monthly income she's bringing in can't support it and have money for like taxes, and like she's basically paying everything out in fees to everyone else, into Lifetime, into taxes, into like Gypsy has no concept. She thinks she's bigger time than she is.
So you have the PR layout for how long into the future?
I don't know how long it is. Like
For the rest of the year? For
and I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is. Like, it's not like a for the rest of the year type thing. It's like a strategy of what she's
was the
gonna do.
pregnancy a part of this PR rollout?
Yep. Everything she's doing right now is part of it.
Was the pregnancy because they wanted to, I guess, lock in a season 3 with Lifetime?
Did I not just say that?
Okay. So okay, and then you got some more information on the rollout for their public relations moving forward.
Yeah, she's with Red Banyan.
Red Banyan. I never heard of that, but
I haven't either, but
that's
I
a PR
think
company.
yeah.
Hmm.
Guys, I'm eating dinner.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, which we already have probably 4 hours.
It's been
ago,
like
but
4 hours. I was editing a video about Cody Brown that I
I
never.
told you it was just going to be like you're hanging out, you know.
I
and,
know. I'm sorry, and I got so like sassy. I'm so sorry. Like,
You're more than welcome to come back. I
no, I'll come
appreciate
back.
you
Like, y'all
sharing
are
what you
cool.
have.
Like, I'm glad that like people are receptive. Like, I hope people realize I'm not like trying to be.
Oh, here we go.
Like, I wasn't fooled. I was like, I felt like if I could, because I wasn't fooled, I could help. You know what I mean? Like,
You want to answer real quick? Maybe a troll of yours? So no, I don't know who this person is.
what's the question?
Hold on one second. Hi.
No, get them off. Get them off. Get
They're
them
off.
Get
Okay,
them
I'm
off.
gonna have to get you off.
No,
Okay, I don't know who they are, but
I gotta go. Bye.
someone scary. All right. Well, thank you to.
That was it. I know what he wants. Harrison wants more subscribers on his channel, but he has to come back and tell me what's in it for me. That was the end of Katie, but yeah. And that was WOACB versus WOACB, believe it or not, I believe. These balls shares it here. Oh, it was from Llama Girl. It says,
Get them
Okay,
off.
I'm gonna have to get you off.
get them off. I'm going to get
Who
them
they
off.
are, but
I gotta go. Bye.
someone.
I don't know. Like, I wasn't fooled. I was like,
As I said, she needs to run for the Melbourne Cup.
you know what I mean? Like,
You want to answer real quick, maybe a troll of yours, or no? I don't know who this person is.
What's the question?
Now, hold on one second.
Get
Okay,
them off.
I'm gonna have to get you off. Who they are.
Well, okay. So yes, I'm gonna get you off. I'm gonna get you off. Apparently, it was WOACB. He was. It was so funny. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to head off tonight. There is still lots of stuff in here. There's so many comments. You know, she's been called out by so many people, and that she's deleted comments. This is not going. This may not end well for her. Like this, regardless of anything, you should really stop calling her a sociopath, psychopath, narcissistic. That she's been truthfully and properly diagnosed by legitimate, knowledgeable professionals, and you have proof. Let's not diagnose people with illnesses, since you're far from qualified to do so. That's not appropriate for anyone, and makes your claims look less legitimate, angry, and spiteful. Come on, leave her alone. She's got so much to learn. You continue to put her down. Who does that help? Your pocket, please. Well, you're a bitter, mean old lady. Whatever China baby and his dancing ring do to ya, you deserve it. The hell is wrong with you now bullying Gypsy, a person that was abused as a child? Sick. So as I said, I didn't show you all of it because there's just so much more there. But yeah, she spoke about her son for about half an hour and how he's only got an IQ of the other thing is that she blocked people. So this is from Haiti Joyous. She's coming across like a jealous ex-girlfriend. You are correct. So WOACB versus WOACB tried to join, but she was blocking everybody. See, it says here, KJ, you weren't treated badly. You were rude. And then it says message deleted by without a crystal ball. No, they're not. She's a YouTuber. Someone watching her isn't stalking her. That was the message she deleted. So she apparently blocked people as well. KJ was the usual nasty self. Then WOCB tried to join and KJ freaked out and literally ran away. She was deleting people and blocking people too. Here is an example. So apparently, yes, this woman. Yes. I think so. Well, that's right. You're a fan if you agree and a stalker if you don't, and that's the sad part. Even the people that were saying no, the person that says I wouldn't actually have said it was. Oh. Here we go. Haiti Joyce has done this. She's called it. I wish I was this clever. I really did. I really do wish I was this clever. All these people that are so clever. This is Katie literally running away from someone who doesn't like her. And she talks about Gypsy's lack of social skills. So watch this.
You want to answer real quick, maybe a troll of yours, or no? I don't know who this person is.
What's the question?
Now, hold on one second. Hi.
No, get them off. Get them off.
They're off?
Get them off.
I'm going to have to get you off. All right.
No.
Okay, I don't know who they are, but
I gotta go. Bye.
someone scary. All right. Well, thank you to it was You want to answer real quick, maybe?
Oh dear, that was funny. Yeah. All right. On that note, I'm going to go and say goodbye. Thank you for all joining me. I know some of you are just coming on now. I need to prepare. So I'm going to just put Morbid's channel here again. Please make sure you watch it. As I said, there's about half an hour where she talks about her son. Everyone was a bit surprised she was moderating, but she walked in with a wrench, not automatic. She walked in with she got a wrench straight away, and she says, "Oh, I promise I won't abuse the wrench. I won't do anything with the wrench," which was quite ironic considering that she was blanking. She was blocking people and getting really upset. So anyway, yes. So put it on, put it in the background while you're doing your chores, and have a listen to it. I was looking at we've checked out the Louisiana legislation. And we've checked out a video night and hit the one. Yes. And don't forget the Olympics are starting. I've got to go to bed because I've got to be up at 4 a.m. for the opening ceremony, my time. So maybe. So yes, I will catch you all later. She was swinging that wrench like a cowboy, wasn't she? She really was. And yeah. And I've got to go and remove my new earrings. I don't know if you can, how well you can see them. They're little trumpets. Because I'm a trumpet teacher. See? It's a little trumpet. All right. I'll catch you all later. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.